a champion capable of making a lot of early plays, and so I actually kind of like this Viego pick. It is a champion that can fight Rift Trailed really, really effectively. Is very good duelist champion, and we'll see if that's going to be enough for their early game here, because Weibo, they lock it in again. Another range champion for Crisp in the bottom.
Halo guys, welcome. Kasih tahu kalau suara in-game casternya terlalu kecil ya. Tes. Nonton live-nya di mana, Kor? Ini gue nontonnya di... Kayaknya gue pindah ke Twitch aja deh.
Mid jungle and get the control that we want for Xiaohu in that mid lane.
Another interesting kind of synergy here is that Crisp and Weiwei both will have speed-ups available to them, so they can both either use that on each other when Weiwei is going to gain their lane, or later stages they can use it on Xiaohu to make it easier, even easier for this Nico to really get to the back line and get those perfect Nico ultimates. You know, so much mobility here available to the team.
We got some good playmaking power on both sides. You know that NRG is going to be hungry for revenge against Weibo after that first matchup. You know that Weibo wants to keep.
Kasih tahu kalau suaranya kekecilan ya.
And do the exact same thing to the last remaining team from North America that they did when they faced them back in the Swiss stage. I can't wait as we're about to hit the rift, my friends.
It's going to be an absolute banger.
T1 main bang. Enggak, hari ini cuma satu game doang.
I think it's one that's been on a lot of people's minds as we're starting to get into it. Just that this is. It's the non-rational gamers versus the consistently inconsistent. Like, you could not have asked for a more chaotic series between two teams at the World Championship, and I'm so excited.
Harusnya udah aman ya suaranya ya.
I think we can guarantee the fans will be entertained either way. Explosive gameplay on the horizon.
All right, let's get to it. We're on the rift. This is gonna be a good one. I just know it. A reminder to everybody out there as we're waiting to get everything going with the minions not yet spawned. You can connect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab the exclusive Braum W emote. You've been seeing a lot of players spam those, so make sure to get your own. And we don't have anybody doing anything too peculiar here at level 1 in this first meeting.
Sabtu jam berapa? Semua nobarnya jam 3 semua, cuy.
For NRG side, again, they have had doubters all over them, every step of the way, every bit of their journey here, and yet they have been able to overcome them. And the entire region is already so proud because this team has really given that hope back.
Kualitasnya naikin. Nah, tadi ngeblur ya.
And now with their most formidable opponent before.
Lo main lagi nggak Song of Nunu? Nanti malam kita main ya. Habis ini.
And Xiaohu that has 3 MSI titles on 2 different roles, might I add.
Ini agak menarik ya, ada Tamkens misalnya cuy ya. Ada Tamkens. Milio sebelumnya udah dipakai kah? Terus ada Viego juga, ada Sett. Oh, ini Senna ADC-nya ya. Oh, Senna fasting ya. Jadi adik Senna itu bikin item support cuy ya. Jadi ngebiarin si Tamkensnya yang ngambil asid.
Failed to make it into playoffs. This was a roster that you never really knew what you were going to get, even dropping games to teams like Rare Atom. So I definitely think that this has been a roster that we've expected more from. Now they have managed to go from 6 to the World Championship.
Bang, Istal yang kanan nyala. Oh iya benar juga ya. Siapa satu lagi Ixtal? Rel itu Ixtal kah? Oh iya Ixtal 2 kan nyala ya. Ini buff Ixtalnya kayaknya apa ya? Auto win kayaknya. WBG nih. Nice banget rootnya. Wood itu anjing. Wood apa ya? Yang stun ya? Apa yang nambahin darah ya?
FBI did have to burn the flash to get away from the cube, but managing to escape that one, maybe should have been a bit more aware of it since it was exactly the play we saw in their first game.
All right, answer back from Contracts on the opposite side. Dokla trying to build his rage at the moment.
Yep, needs to stack that up, wants to be able to have an empowered spell here for this. Hits level 4. Golden Meek already used here. Contracts coming around now with a harrowed path. Flash, stun, follow-up coming in from Contracts. The Shy trying to get back. He goes unstoppable. They wanted to save a little bit of extra damage. They don't quite have it.
Nice. Mati nggak tuh?
Underneath the tier 1 turret, it will be a 1-for-1 trade. First blood over to NRG. Answer from Weibo.
The Shy just about able to get enough damage down as Contracts goes underneath the tower. Now, he will have to TP back into the lane because the wave isn't in the best of spots, but it's still NRG getting something on the board.
Oh, that was beautiful for NRG to be able to get first blood, but the Shy played it so well with his W holding it. They were really waiting to try and get Contract stun on him, but the Shy held it for so long. He was able to get under the tower, gets the counter kill.
Oriana masih dipakai aja, masih dong. Oh ya Pit, mau nobar nggak Pit? Nobar kui Pit.
Yes, you will try and get back into lane, but your wave is in a bit of an awkward position, and keep an eye on where Weiwei is on the map. I think for Dokla, maybe even just...
Halo Darius.
And just trying to get this wave pushed in.
Milo berarti ada Nafiri dong. Kenapa ada Nafiri?
A lot of deep wards there for Weibo. Raptors warded up, so they will see that Contracts is over here as Weiwei.
Sini juga ada ward anjir.
As well. We'll see him move up towards that top side.
Well, back in mid, we haven't been paying a whole lot of attention here so far. You can see about a 1-wave advantage in terms of the farm for Palafox. Both of them still having their teleports ready to use, as that teleport from Dokla is finally going to be used up in the top lane there. He got the fade.
Dia nunda Oriana-nya recall.
Yeah, and we did also get to see for a second there the state of the minions as bottom lane is trading here. The state of the minions, it looked like the Shy had more than 4 ranged minions stacked in front of him. If you ever have 4 ranged minions, that is enough DPS to freeze the wave and hold it there. Dokla teleports back with his buy, with full health though. Should be fine as Weiwei is now clearing down towards the mid lane again.
I think you need Contracts to come up here and break this though.
Ba nanti nobar WR juga nggak? WR nobar apa? WRL, nggak punya akses gue kalau WRL cuy.
You can already see Contracts kind of like, hey look, I'll come up in a second, help you break this, and then we can start to lean in towards the rest of the map.
Streamer LoL yang paling noob lo doang Kor. Gue nggak main LoL aja, jarang gue main.
The top side as well, because there's not really much setup elsewhere.
Yeah, definitely going to slow push back after he's able to kill those off. Contracts is here.
Oh,
he's going in for the Kasante combo.
nggak bisa cuk, belum cukup.
He does manage to pull Dokla underneath that aggro range.
Masih bisa ngedes ya Renektoy-nya. Mana Peter?
Contracts is up here. Weiwei is coming around too. Dokla still has the dominance ready to go. They're trying to wait for the all-out to dissipate. Weiwei still moving his way forward. Dokla dives in, ready to go dominance mode, but not.
Real jungle ya?
Shows up, goes in for the stun. Only gonna find it on
Nggak bisa
Weiwei.
sih.
The Shy still at 400 HP, but there's no CC left, so Energy's gonna back both players away.
Nicely done there by Weibo, even tanking up.
Lagi main dia sama Gian. Oh lagi main, Peter.
Sure that nothing could happen to the Shy. Steadying the Shy back though is actually pretty big here. Means they'll have to walk back up to the lane.
Lagi live ya si Peter ya?
But actually looks like he's just going to freeze it in a position where it's favorable to him. So at the moment, NRG going tip for tat is a far better situation than what we saw from the last game between these two teams.
All right, as we get the reset here, Xiaohu on his first roam.
Itu siapa? Itu Rel.
It's like NRG well aware of the roam possibility and the timing from him though. Not well aware enough.
No.
Contracts does clear out the ward, but they don't know Xiaohu's lines here still.
Yeah, Xiaohu coming around from the side.
Nice banget. Tapi cuma dapat 1 sih. Tapi bisa sih dapat itu. Gokil dapat. Viego-nya dapat. Nggak bisa lu recall di situ, Cok. Ketahuan sama Oriana. Mati dong Niko-nya.
And Xiaohu's going to be caught on the back half of the fight. Weiwei's still sticking around as Palafox gets the second kill of the game for NRG. FBI and Ignar still moving forward, but they're too far behind to find anything else. End of the day, it's an even trade, 1-for-1.
And Weibo do end up walking away with the red buff, but because the mid laner is the change for the jungler here, Palafox gets a shove out mid lane. It looks like it might turn into a dragon as well.
Dukung siapa bang? Gak tahu juga sih gua karena LCS ya. LCS ini kan NA ya, harusnya dia agak kurang sih. Jadi kayaknya bakal menang WBG ya. Tapi nggak tahu ya.
Interesting on the side of Weibo to go for that play, but it was Weibo trying to punish the fact that Contracts had no flash. So now it's a curious question of can Contracts try and get into the mid lane and punish Xiaohu for the flash that was invested on this play.
All right, so Contracts had found the ward and cleared it out, but Weiwei and Xiaohu know that he's on there and they force the play. Xiaohu goes in. This is going to be critical. We'll have to track that flash that he burned to get onto Contracts. Yeah. They knew that he did not have his to answer, and it is going to be the kill answered over, but we'll see if the punishment for the summoner spell.
Kalau NRG mau menang, Desai harus dimatiin dulu. Oh, ini barunya yang Desai kemarin waktu itu ya? Mana Desai? Iya, WBG yang Desai jago waktu itu katanya ya. Apa yang jago dia, Fiora ya?
I think they're just trying to do that to be able to gain priority for Rift Heralds, because a Renekton or even a Cassante are not really your win conditions here. It's more about this objective.
Well, we've got Weiwei and Xiao who both ready to contest this. Palafox coming up, wants to put in some damage. Weiwei's gonna be the target here at the start.
Waduh, ulti Nico udah nggak ada lagi. Anjir. Itu siapa yang ngedamage Weiwei sampai tipis itu anjir?
Contracts about to die, but barely hobbling away.
That was so close to NRG falling. Contracts using the flash because
Bang, kapan pakai karakter barunya? Antara akhir bulan atau awal bulan depan? Awal bulan ini, akhir bulan ini atau awal bulan depan?
No flashes in the aftermath because Weiwei also had to flash away from Contract's ultimate there. You can feel the tension rising here in just the first game of the quarterfinals.
We're getting a lot of trading back and forth. We're getting a lot of action from both sides. This is the first 10 minutes of the game I wanted to see.
But man, I looked at an Orianna and a Senna and I was like, yeah, we're going to take it easy. Nice and breezy, no problems at all. But these teams are going ham, and a huge amount of that is contract.
Tapi picknya ini sih menarik sih karena ada Tamkens ya. Selama World ini kah pertama kali Tamkens di pick? Apalagi ada Senna juga tuh.
Did not catch that ward in the back though, so Weibo have the information, but it looks like they're gonna call the Shy back.
They have the information, but they don't have
Oke.
the numbers.
Bisa nggak nih nyuri? Wah, sulit sih. Buat mati doang anjir. Tapi masih punya loncat sih dia. Ah, mati sih ada Orianna. Anjir, datang cu baronnya. Anjir, Orianna nyampe nge-flash. Wah, dapat 2 dong. Dapat Herald terus dapat 2. Agak maksa sih tadi ya si ini. WW-nya buat ngambil Herald.
Ignar needs to be careful, going to be able to back away, but that was just disrespectful. Weiwei going in over the wall, hasn't got a flash, has a dream and a prayer to get back out, and NRG shut that down immediately.
A huge difference here. Contract, such a playmaker. This Viego, so good at fighting the Rift Heralds like we were talking about in Champ Select. And man, Palafox rotating every single time right over. Dokla.
Ekspektasinya mungkin tadi 2 orang doang ya. Terus dia juga pede cuy karena dia bisa nembus dinding lagi gitu. Tamken sering dipakai Senna. Oh, sering dipakai di ini di World. Yang pakai keledai siapa? Rel namanya. Wih, oh emot itu.
Contracts and Palafox actually coming from the same city in California, Redwood City.
Ini update Ergo setengah lalu stuck di 100%. Coba aja trik yang di short gue tuh cuy.
The Orianna such a good facilitator for the Viego with Contracts rushing the Trinity Force build here. Really going to be very, very powerful combination if they can pull it off.
So my eyes right now are on 2 things. Number 1, Dragon Timer in the top right corner under 30 seconds. Number 2, Xiao who's got that flash ready to go on the Nico yet again. Big playmaking potential here from Weibo if they want to fight for this. You can see the Radiant Virtue also purchased up for Weiwei, so a lot of potential, very powerful engage.
And that's what I was going to say. I think actually you need to hold on for a second here as NRG. Don't have the Mythic completed in mid. FBI still doesn't have his first item completed, nor does Ignar. I think with just the damage that you have from Light completing that first item and the Radiant Virtue, you may need to chill since you can't really get Dokla into this fight. I don't think so with the Shy being able to interrupt if he tries to TP.
Okay. A little bit of trading here from FBI and Ignar. They're just going to try to annoy these guys as much as they can. If they can lay down some
Bentar. Oh iya, Apelios baru sadar gue.
That full fight is so scary because of exactly what you're talking about, Tagda. As Dokla up here underneath the tier 1 turret doesn't want to take the aggro immediately because he doesn't want to risk getting Kisanta'd underneath the turret. You can see the Rift Herald summoned up back over in mid. They just
dapat 2 plating.
That first plate has been damaged enough. The charge is enough to get both of them, and now Palafox will collect that money too.
Yeah, this is huge for NRG. He's going to be able to complete his mythic after this. They're also going to be able to transfer the bottom lane and mid lane
No vision.
to a dragon take for themselves to even up the count. The question is, what is the counter?
Tapi barusan itu pas kamera observer dimatiin kan kelihatan ya skillnya Viego ya. Itu sama musuh juga kelihatan juga nggak ya skillnya si Viego?
They managed to spot him out, although maybe just rinse and repeats. I think the fact you managed to get that mid priority with the Rift Herald and also bot is huge, but FBI sneaks it out.
Malah kena anjing.
And NRG, they are playing.
Diketawain anjing.
Ultra Mega Fire Kick, not going to find a whole lot. They're just trying to get this wave pushed up. FBI falling back. Light does so much damage. He forces out the heal from NRG's side. This Aphelios is getting farmed. The Storm Razor, the 132 CS count. He is going to be frightening once we get into these bigger fights.
And Light has been so big for Weibo at this tournament. Really, really big carry force. Considering the comp that they're running, he has to be this time around. He's going to be the main DPS output.
And I think Light gets overlooked a little bit in the LPL because you have such incredible AD carry star power. But Weiwei wants to try and propel him to stardom, especially if he can get this dive off on bot side. But look at the collapse from NRG.
They're coming down, but remember the plates have already fallen and the turret's at about 0 HP.
Emotnya bagus, iya.
Long enough to guarantee they grab that objective. You can see they got one more plate overall compared to NRG early on, and they want to make sure they're piling up some of this objective.
Sistem eliminasinya bukan lower upper gitu ya, bukan. Dia pakai Swiss stage namanya. Jadi lu bakal punya kesempatan ngelawan sebanyak 3 kali gitu ngelawan tim yang beda-beda. Kalau menang 3, lu lanjut ke quarter final. Kalau lu kalah 3, gugur.
Which is perfect for a composition like Weibo that has things like the Rel, like this Nico, that can immediately jump on top of you when they're ready.
Yep, a lot more guaranteed on the side of Weibo. Plus, Weibo have the counter card in the Milio ultimate as well. So if one of those single target stuns is something that catches you, like Contracts or Dokla, then they can get that person out. We did have a lot of single item completions here now coming through for both sides. So that earlier lead from the earlier completions that NRG had kind of a wash now as all of the key ones are coming.
Kaget gua anjing musik ini Mastercard ini. Itu Senna mobil support apa gimana, Kur? Iya, soalnya Senna itu kalau dia jadi ADC gitu emang mending dia bikin item support supaya yang nge-last hit itu temennya gitu. Karena kalau bukan Senna yang nge-last hit minionnya ya chance buat ngeluarin stack itu lebih tinggi cuy, naik chance-nya. Di WildRift kan juga gitu tuh, kalau misalnya kayak ada Senna Galio, Senna Nasus, itu yang beli item supportnya Senna.
Try to see if they can get the Tango Barbs, but not quite able to do so. And Light has always been someone that you can rely on. In LNG, back with Iwandi, this was a guy that you gave resources to, he would carry a game. And Weibo, kind of realizing that coming in towards their playoffs and in towards Worlds as well, is like, we want to try and play around bot side, get our AD carry fed, and see if he can just lend us the victory that we're so hoping.
And even though
Weibo bang, bukan Wibu. Orang dari kemarin nyebutnya Wibu terus anjir pada Weibo ya.
You're supposed to play the double range matchup super well, play for those turret plates and get that value. Out of the draft here for them, so really nicely done. Really has turned into a rich Light.
Oh boy, Xiaohu has to flash away there. If that Spectral Maw hits, you know they're going to follow it up and just immediately burst him down.
Massive win though for NRG. No flash on this Nico for a Rift Herald fight is exactly what you want, which is why NRG immediately feel confident to start this up. They take the Nico's health bar flash and they're going to be good to go.
But it looks like Weiwei does not want to let it go. A TP's coming in. Weibo ready to contest. Herald's down.
Ayo.
Eyeball opened here. Oh, NRG backing away.
Dia nggak mau ngehit punggung. Alah.
Weibo, but instead it's going to be secured by NRG. Contracts moves in, picks up the eye. NRG now backing away as Weibo looks for any opportunity to make.
Siapa yang dapat tadi, guys?
The objective goes to NRG.
It was 11
NRG dapat.
I actually feel for you, Weiwei. I've been there. He tries to Q smite, and he's really close on the calculations, but 11 HP off. Contracts is able to get it. Weibo still get mid tower, though.
Yeah, they will be able to force energy out towards that top side, but it will be answered if you look towards Palafox on that top end as well. So at least going tit for tat still when it comes towards towers, and having that Rift Guard now to break up a mid lane turret is going to make it way easier for NRG to try and play for that pick style we were talking about. Play off of the vision they can establish on this top end and make sure Palafox is always safe when he's trying to push in. Orianna's not a champion that does well in the side lane if she's going to be troubled, but that's what NRG are going to be able to shut down.
And there's a lead-in tempo for NRG because Palafox pushed in top side, so the rest of the team can go mid with Rift Herald and try and get 2 towers out of it, then rotate down to the Dragon that's about to spawn now. Nice chain of events here for NRG, trying to use the momentum that they have with their presence on the map, constantly pushing in these waves in order to set up for the next objective.
The Dragons are 1-1 here across the first 2, so no early stacking advantage for either side. Also a Chemtech Rift, generally considered lower value in most situations, so it's not going to have the same amount of pressure it would for something like a Hextech or an Infernal. It's Dokla and FBI clearing the waves back in mid. 19 minutes into the game, so Baron's not up yet, but as we move forward a few more minutes into
Bang, ayo war lagi, Bang.
could spell something very.
Tapi suara Ain kan udah aman kan, guys ya.
Weibo are going to abandon Dragon. You can see where Xiaohu was. He reset super late, so instead they're just trying to go for 2 turrets, maybe on this top side. They'll definitely get 1. You can see the reset starting to come through from NRG to try and answer this. But as you just said, Flowers, this is kind of Weibo going right.
Dia ngasih aja Dragon.
Chem Dragon going over. We want to set up that vision for the Baron that's going to come up and see if we can try and play for that 5v5 in these choke points around the Baron area.
Now Weibo doing a good job here, just brute forcing this tier 2 turret. They got a 4-man play in the top side. Dokla's already at half HP. FBI and Ignar ready to back him up now, while Palafox split pushes on the bottom side of the map, taking out the tier 1. Weibo really want this tier 2 turret, but it's a 4v4 now. Dokla at half HP means NRG's making the call to back off. They don't want to throw the game for this. So Weibo is going to take the big cash prize for the tier 2.
Gini-gini doang nih anjir, turret.
Powers, in giving up that kind of low-value Dragon you're talking about there, Flowers. Let's see about the chase here for NRG, though. They want to interrupt the recalls.
Yeah, Dokla going in, tries to stun up the Shy. Nice use of that Pathmaker to just walk it off. Not even concerned. Breath of Life not required. Weibo just walk away.
I'm curious how far NRG want to chase, though. If they can keep Weibo from resetting, maybe they can actually look for something in this jungle, but I don't know if they want to chase this far. FBI finds the Shy.
Yeah, does a little bit of damage to him, but looks like those recalls are still going to fire off on Weibo's side.
Kalau Chemtech dapat apa? Lupa gue sih.
Only a clone of the Nico. The real one is down there.
Bang, penting banget tuh gue liat orang recall.
As NRG have control over the top side river to establish some vision.
And usually you'd be like, okay, if NRG can try and find these moments where they push Weibo back, maybe they can turn over towards a Baron, but when you look at this composition that NRG has, there's just no real Baron damage. Like, Senna isn't great at taking it. You look towards Orianna, she's going to be very slow, so it means that for NRG, you have to find a fight, you have to find these picks before you turn over towards these objectives.
Step 1 in that, getting control of the minion wave mid here. NRG pushing in. They've got wards on both sides.
Oh, the attempted
Nah, ini dia coy.
flash out from Light is good. Now Ignar has to flash himself to escape the counter punch
Ya,
from Weibo.
gitu doang gitu loh. Udah miss balik lagi, udah miss balik lagi.
To grab that valuable target, but Light's reaction time was fast enough.
It's still a valuable summon.
Kalau tadi emang gak ada mukil ya. Iya cuy, kita pengen lihat mukil-mukilnya nih. Goalnya sih beda 2000 doang ya menang energi. Cuman ya ini Desai kesantainya kerjaan ngulur minion doang nih, bersih minion doang.
Ignar wants to follow up on him, but Ignar doesn't have a flash either.
This top catch could be in a whole lot of trouble. They're gonna burst him down. Big stand only keeps him alive for an extra
Nice.
second. Xiaohu's into the back. They stun up Palafox. He tries
Oh,
to
nice banget.
but it ain't gonna work. The Shy goes
Yeah.
all out, and Palafox is his next target. FBI and Dokla's trying
Anjir.
to get away, but it's a shutdown over the Shy. Weibo just got 2, and Baron's on the menu.
Yeah, they're gonna go right over and try and bait in energy. Contracts is still alive, but he has no ult and no flash, so he would have to walk around the front. Weibo!
This is the turning point. Weibo found their moment. NRG are going to need a big play to try to triumph here. Dokla's here on the front line, popping the dominance. Needs to try to stop these guys a little bit better.
Fokus orang kalau mau orang.
Dokla falling back. Stun from FBI. Back is low, but Doke was lower. Contracts still in a position here in the bot side of the river. Weibo will not get the Baron in 3v5. Energy, fight him off.
FBI needs to be careful though. As long as you can keep them pushed back, you can go for the Baron yourself. Energy, they're TPing in. They might have just found the Baron themselves.
They're gonna go for it. DPS check right now.
Let's see if they can burn it down in time. Weibo, they still have full health on light, but it's the Shy and
Ayo bang, paksa bang.
to work with. Energy burning the Baron low. Weibo backs off.
Loncatin.
Energy
Nggak mau dia.
are going to find themselves a Baron. Weiwei having to fully disengage as Dokla goes over the wall. The big purple worm goes to the North American squad.
Huge clutch plays on the world stage here. This is what North America has been missing. Under pressure, they do not fold. Energy stop Weibo's Baron. They poke them off with a 3v5 scenario as we go into the replay. To watch
Oh, itu skill Tamkens. Gue kira siapa anjir.
of why we had to fight them off a 3v5 Baron.
Wah,
I like the idea.
kalah sini.
Try and find the pick, but without the vision clearing down behind you and not even
Oriana juga kena satu tadi, lumayan buat delay ya. Tapi ada bom. Ah, masih bisa tuh.
the scramble from NRG.
Kesante, do your job. Nice.
Going a completely separate way to Palafox, but
Knockback Kesante tuh enak banget ya.
exactly the feeling
Ngedorong ke kita gitu.
NA fans are having. But the fact they managed to then come back, play on the knife's edge and push Weibo away secures so much for NRG.
So good for them. Poking around. You used the word annoying before to describe the Senna pick, and FBI has been so good at exactly that. Outside the Baron, he's healing up Dokla as Dokla's
Tim LCS loh ini bisa begini. Iya.
passing them off of the Baron.
Tim LCS itu termasuk tim lemah biasanya guys ya, sama tim EU.
The buff.
I'm looking at this next Drake. They've already got two. We'll see if Weibo can come around and try to answer these guys. They take control over the bottom side. River as Energy are forced back with a four-man squad. Dokla's separated off to the side. No pincer opportunity here just yet as Weibo retreat back into the mid lane.
There's a massive lack of vision for Weibo on that bottom side though, which is why Dokla is able to play around this tower and that bot side jungle incredibly well.
And NRG, they're going to have to keep track of Xiaohu. Xiaohu has the flash on the Nico available and the proto belt. That is the big point man for Weibo.
Kapan boom
right now.
e-sport
They
gak
want
ada
to get
anjir.
started out, and Weiwei would be able to follow up that fight for the big AoE combination.
All right, Weibo's starting up the Drake. They are the ones to dare Energy to come and answer. Weibo know that they have the better engaged tools, the better mechanisms. The Drake is already taken, tied up 2-2 now. Energy have no answer, and Weibo get out.
They need to try and get this mid lane tower if they want to get anything. You can see the resets going for Weibo on this bottom side, so it will be a trade Weibo of their tier 2 mid, I believe, for this. Although they are trying to wrap around. I don't know if NRG Weibo are in a position to contest NRG on this.
Weibo still have such incredibly powerful engage. That's what Energy's got to be conscious of. That's what they got to look out for. Even with this Baron, one big wombo combo.
Tadi gol sempat jatuh gitu tadi ya.
Could spell doom, and Energy are playing it slow.
Yeah, NRG
RRQ nggak ada cuy.
the extra distance of the flashes here. Try and play that kite back team fight.
I think it's also NRG not actually establishing side waves as much as they'd like to for that dragon. No push on top, only having Dokla being able to push bot occasionally means that they weren't really able to establish themselves very quickly. So they do get mid lane turret. That should be the last one though, as this Red Bull Baron power play is about to end.
The poise on stage here for Energy, the calm siege at the tower. They land the snare onto Xiaohu, they respect the flash possibility. Contracts though, getting a little bit extra greedy here, trying to counter jungle everything.
Yeah, wants to get away from Xiaohu. He will manage his escape. But I do have to still say, we've been praising Energy. They had a very good Baron turnaround
Asik
after
kayaknya
a
tuh.
mistake, after
LCS itu
Weibo
NA. Yep.
But the reality is,
Apa namanya?
still only
League
a little bit over 2,000 gold ahead, and they're up against
League Championship Series ya.
more capable team fight tools. Do not count Weibo out of this. One big fight, and this game gets slammed on its head.
And this is where I think you need to try and work together as NRG to establish the vision you need. Like, push mid as a group, put the vision on bot side, play for the bot side tier 2. If you start to skip these steps, or maybe you try to catch out on a play like Glide again, that could be the play that comes back to bite you.
And although NRG don't have the same initiation tools, they do have a very, very strong kite back team fight, as I'm trying to highlight, with the Orianna, with the Senna, and with the Tom Kench. Mainly the bottom half of their map. those picks for the draft really meant to give them this security as long as they're able to track the enemy initiators and they don't fall prey to the giant AoE dream combo that Weibo are trying to set up. But again, there's so much tension on that line because one successful initiation from Weibo that does get the Nico into the Rel combo.
Bang, ini di mana? Turninya tuh di Korea, cuy.
Is all that Weibo need.
Dapat akses sampai final nggak? Final belum pasti, cuy, tapi quarter final gue dapat.
Preventing that opportunity to come through. Even things like the rapid fire cannon that's about to be completed for FBI is going to make that 10 times easier in the coming fights.
We're talking about completed items. Light has just completed his third one, the Bloodthirster online. This pretty much demands you must kill him instantly or the Aphelios is going to win this fight for Weibo. There's a lot of pressure on Light's shoulders. There's a lot of pressure on everybody else to protect the president. Make sure this guy is allowed to DPS and you should be in a great spot.
Tiap hari apa match ini doang? Kalau quarter final gue tiap hari sampai hari Sabtu kalau nggak salah. Minggu doang enggak kalau nggak salah ya. Gue lupa jadwalnya. Yang menang ketemu siapa, Kor? Belum tahu, cuy. Ini timnya beda-beda terus selama 4 hari ke depan.
Exactly. And from the side of NRG, if you're talking about DPS, there's about to be a death cap on Palafox. So they want to buy time for him to be able to get there.
Oh, FBI getting away from the shattering strike. Weiwei tried to predict him running off to the left, but FBI just kept running straight back down mid to escape from that one. Weibo taking a very low risk opportunity there to try to catch out a valuable target of energy. Doesn't pay off, but it does buy them control over the top side river. The Baron is respawning in under 10 seconds, and it's Weibo who are going to sweep out.
Sore bang, ini game keberapa? Baru yang pertama. Ini BO5 BTW ya. Panjang ini, cuy.
That's the most dangerous point for NRG. Don't know where Xiaohu is. No vision on the rail. Flashes on both these. You can see Xiaohu trying to play off knowing that fact. Find these angles of attack for NRG, and immediately NRG have to cede all the controls they just got in pushing forward and getting that vision established on the top side. Contracts playing very far forward, knowing he does have that ultimate to get out if he needs it. Yep.
Heartbreaker, very, very powerful for being able to buffer through CCs even when they hit you. But now it's a very dark map.
Hari ini sampai selesai, iya.
And Weibo again with control over the Baron pit.
Yang kayak kelawar ngelilingin dinding itu apa, Kor? Yang ngelilingin dinding. Yang mana? Oh, itu skillnya Viego. Jadi dia bisa ngedash gitu. Terus kalau kena dinding ya dia bakal bikin area shadow isle gitu. Jadi dia bisa ngilang dalam area dindingnya itu, cuy. Nah tuh, nah dia bisa ngilang tuh dalam itu tuh, di area itu doang tapi.
6,000 HP left on the objective. Energy still approaching. Dokla coming over now. The Shy looking to approach from behind. Weibo are going in for the engage. They want the collapse. Weiwei's gonna find one target, but it's only contract. Pop Blossom hits nobody.
Ah, ini mah menang WBG sih kayaknya, cuy. Anjir, nggak mati dong itu. Oh, belum ada anti heal ya. Allah. Kok malah lu yang mati, Cok? Anjir, enak banget ya Sona ya. SN-nya. Kena tuh. Cuman nggak bisa sih.
That is exactly what a successful kite back team fight looks. Energy, they scramble and they split so that oh, never mind. We're gonna look for another one.
Ignar throwing out the tongue lash. Xiaohu in danger. Palafox throws out the ball. Weiwei is low. A lot of damage on the Xiaohu.
Pada tipis tuh, Cok. Kena tuh. Tapi nggak ada damage Apheliosnya. Gas Aphelios.
And Xiaohu falls. A 1-for-1 trade on the back end. But now Palafox may be in danger. Weiwei trying to trade with him as Palafox
combo lama gak cooldown si Aphelios ini.
Light is still a force to be reckoned with. Weibo maintain control over the top side.
They're desperate. They're desperate.
Begin the Baron.
Palafox did TP back in with his death cap, so he's going to stick around. FBI going to do the same. They're waiting for Dokla. There's the TP. Time to get Weibo.
Everybody's back in. Crisp is down to 20%.
Gak jadi anjing Baron.
He goes after FBI, and the Senna has been isolated and brought down. Dokla goes
Dapat.
but Weibo has the Baron. Dokla wants to clean him up, but he ain't gonna find anybody and has to dice back over the wall. Weibo with a massive dub.
The shockwave couldn't get on towards Light in the back of the pit. Palafox only hits onto Weiwei, and Weibo back and forth, fist fighting that whole time, finally come out with purple fits on their hands.
Huge turn there for Weibo. They show no fear in such a tense situation into the back of the Baron pit.
Energi salah dikit comeback, cuy. Kuat soalnya WBG ini, cuy.
Takes down one of the most annoying champions, one of the biggest threats on that team. Let's take another look at it. Crisp takes a big combo as he's cutting outside, but then FBI gets taken out because
Nah, ini nih.
also able to snipe him with a green gun right before this, and then still get the Baron along with Weiwei. So they've already taken out the Senna. They have the numbers advantage, even with the extra death cap there on Palfox and him arriving. Weibo get everyone out. They got the objective. This game is delivering so well back and forth.
The fact that the Shy did such a good job of preventing Palafox from entering the pit, catching light with that shockwave, was the difference maker at the end. And now Weibo, Red Bull Bar and power play in operation. They've got that third dragon for themselves as well. And now they're going to be the ones that are in position to go, cool lads, let's start to push in. Let's start to get the vision that we want. Let's make NRG play into the darkness and into our hands.
It is a dangerous, dangerous highway when Weibo is in the driver's seat. This composition is absolutely merciless when they
Ada Malio kah itu? Iya, di kanan Malio. Ada Tamkens juga, ada Senna support.
They got the Drake. They're now on Soul Point. If they can manage to control the Rift for the next 4.5 minutes, get that, that's going to be another huge power spike here for them. And things are becoming more and more difficult for Energy to deal with these guys. As a TP is summoned up mid lane, that's going to guarantee that Weibo can force down the tier 2 turret.
Light is so massive on this Aphelios with double summoners plus the Melio though to protect him. Weibo, the onslaught. They're
Wah,
inside the base.
inhibnya dapat.
Crack the first inhibitor turret. They will not overforce and go after
Tamkensnya nggak kelihatan sih. Iya sih.
the bottom lane where the Shy already has the next wave prep. They're going to break their second inhibitor turret as Light applies the DPS to the mid lane inhib. Now they got to be careful on Energy's side. There's threats in so many places. The Shy's going to get jumped on by 2, but the mid lane inhib is still being taken down. First inhib falls, and the Shy is again fearless back in the bottom lane. Contracts goes back into the fountain to heal up and shop, but Weibo can still keep this pressure going. Contracts and the rest of Energy. Are they even
Dapat lagi inhibnya.
Bottom lane inhibitor falls. Baron's still up for another 15 seconds. Weibo are not stopping.
Gue dapat soulnya Centeng, ngasih tambahan damage sama pengurangan damage pas HP rendah. Wih, keren banget deh.
Doka loses Sterix. Light's damage is absolutely brutal.
This train is
Lloyd, lihat.
chugging for Weibo, and Light wants to hit them like a truck.
Ops, kena.
Contracts taking a lot of DPS. He's got
Jangan sampai nge-throw ya adik ya.
Finally thinned out as the Baron dissipates, but Weibo have done incredible damage to the base of Energy.
All right, they finally get the reset. 2 inhibitors down. Weibo have done so much damage here. Now all they have to do is return to that top side. They've got the extra pressure. They can get that reset off. I mean, Light is closing in here really quickly. He's already got the makings of his armor penetration.
3-0.
Pretty soon it will
Kalau 3-0 kebantai banget dong anjir.
He's already level 16 as well.
I think for Energy,
Golnya sekarang beda 1000-an ya, udah mulai balik lagi golnya ke tim WBG cuy.
as the rest of Weibo pushing on top side, try to find different angles of
Soalnya tadi dapat ini hit 2 biji ya.
With that Lord Dominic's completed, it's going to be an absolute bloody disaster for NRG.
Yeah, there's just no way you're going to win a front-to-back against this Aphelios. The dude's 5.5 items. This is not a good situation for Energy to be in, and Weibo has managed to outfight the deficits they were at earlier on in the game to get to this point. We are now less than 2 minutes away from that soul fight at the Drake, and if Weibo are the ones to control the area, if Weibo are the ones to dare Energy to come answer them, I have to think that Energy is going to have a hard time doing it.
Yeah, because Energy, they have to deal with 2 waves of super minions and no wards through their jungle. So it's so difficult for them to make moves on the map here. Weibo just keep returning, clearing out any sort of semblance of vision that they have.
Bang, ayo lawar bang. Langsung all in aja bang.
Uses the crash down to get himself away from it, so Energy don't really have a real shot at making any meaningful pick there. Under a minute and a half now until the Drake. Weibo just putting pressure on that last remaining lane that isn't already being suffocated by the super minions.
Yeah, I think it's just try and control top side, wait for Baron. If Energy have to try and face check into the Baron area blind, it's going to be such a disaster. So you can see now Weibo going for the resets. They want to start pushing in waves, getting the vision that they need in this top side, and making sure that NRG can't really contest them.
45 seconds till the Baron, 50 seconds until the Drake. Having both objectives.
Aphelios udah 4 item. Dia punya bounty, kill 1, assist 2.
allows the enemy team to have so much opportunity to just force you into a losing play.
Now that NRG have double Guardian Angels on their front line in Dokla and contracts, they can actually play the fight a little bit differently and full sending those two right into the center to try and get a good shockwave with. They can, either of them can try and deliver that Orianna ball too light to burn the
Orianna ball.
and then try and kill him.
I mean, contracts.
Oops, santai, chill bang.
I don't think he's going to be able to finish it just before this next fight. I mean, you look at the amount of armor that is sitting on the Shy right now.
Yeah.
There's no real way that you're going to be able to get through the Shy unless you get that item.
And the Shy's
Cuy, panas banget rasanya hari ini anjir.
pure armor. He knows the only AP threat is the Orianna.
Nah, dia coba ngejepit cuy, nyoba sandwich. Aduh, Natulisnya masuk dikit Nautilus. Skill 3, skill 2, dia bakal ulti. Oh, enggak, kabur aja. Keculik sih nggak lucu anjing.
Reset coming through for Dokla. They're going to try and TP him back in. Looks like NRG have said, look, we can't really take this fight. Let's just try and take the dragon so we have something. Baron goes across and, I mean, Weibo, how far do you want to push this?
Well, Weibo are just walking down mid lane, it looks like. Remember, they're the ones who have the empowered recall. It's not Energies. The Dragon's gonna be slain.
Udah sama-sama 3 Dragonnya, dapetin 1 Dragon lagi, dapet Soul, habis itu muncul Elder.
The Shy's reinforcing. The demolish proc ready to go. First Nexus turret is already almost down. Xiao who takes it out.
NRG kalah damage. Iya juga sih. Oh iya, dia double scaling ya. Wah, rata anjing. NT energi. Santai, masih ada game selanjutnya ya. Berat sih, iya. Berat juga ya, Orianna scaling, Senanya juga scaling. Terus di Baronnya tadi Renek ngarepin di early game-nya ya. Early game-nya lawan Desai anjir.
I think you need to try and get something going for yourself there, but it's not really going to be an option here for NRG.
It was close until it wasn't. Weibo triumph over Energy yet again, and we're going to now toss things over to the post-match breakdown to see how it all went.
So close yet so far, and Weibo is a team that loves these.
Oh, lu tadi ngapain di situ katanya? Kalian kayak pick kalian itu tadi sebenarnya agak aneh-aneh sih sebenarnya. Next time kita tunjukin skill kita, oke? Kalian berdua nih yang utama nih, oke? Nah, lu jangan aneh-aneh katanya. Bang, jadi gini bang, jadi kondisi itu tadi agak sulit gitu. Dragon itu kan dapat sama musuh nih. Nah, gue mau ngambil Herald gitu, mau dapat Herald. Gue kira 2 orang di situ. Ternyata rame. Lu gimana tadi bisa dapat solo kill cuy? So tahu lu Kur, woi gue ngerti cuy.
The team compositions in this one, mainly because NRG, I understand the decisions they made, but overall they lacked wave clear and engage. So they had some good individual matchups, but cohesive.
Kalau Sena diganti Jinx mah kelar itu WBG. WBG main ada kah Jinx keluar di World cuy tahun ini? Biasanya saya, Kaisa, Apelios, NRG NA kah? Iya, WBG, Cina, Weibo.
So I did like that draft adaptation from Weibo. I thought that was very, very intelligent by them.
Absolutely, and I think that it was really clear Weibo knew the way that they're going to win this game is 5v5, and it's getting gold on their AD carry. They put so much emphasis on that, and they knew that their biggest point of risk was early game, and that's why I want to highlight how well they actually tracked contracts.
Yang di tengah siapa nih cuy? Baru kayaknya nih.
We have a role here.
Yang di kiri itu Zok ya, Sejoks.
Wards on him, pretty much beginning to finish. And you can see there's a ward place here, there's a ward place over here. I'm just going to begin rolling this, and as we go through, you're going to see that he's tracked so many times.
Ya wardnya sih.
You look over towards the river. There's a ward in the river over there. There's a ward in that bot brush. They're doing such a good job of making sure they know exactly where he is. Again, up on that top side, you see where they're going, and you see, hey, look, they placed a ward there. They placed a ward here. They're making sure that there's no possible way that contracts can really have a big effect on the map. He was constantly moving up towards topside.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big thing I want to call out is we talked about where WeiWei was going to be, right? 252. He's in that bot lane trying to get light ahead. Meanwhile, Contract started by responding his gank top at about 3.5 minutes. His top proximity was massive in this game compared to what we were used to seeing from him at Worlds.
And again, so they track him on bot side, they track him up towards top side, they know that he's there, and then as he's coming back towards bot to clear
T1
the
pakai
red,
Jing
on
kemarin.
they're already waiting for him, right? So this is all
Keria berarti ya.
initial jungle tracking, and they did this so well throughout the
Keria mah support nih. Siapa ada sih Guma Yusi ya?
Bot side, someone's invading top side to get deep ward. As soon as he shows top side, they're re-invading on bot side to reward. And I think this is so important because Contract was super active on the map, and had they been able to get a couple more kills and really blow open that top lane, maybe they get all of the early dragons, and then the later stages could look very different.
Could look very different indeed. I guess it's the side effect of Contracts having such an amazing series versus G2. He put it very high on the list of Weibo in terms of what to track. Now I want to take a look at the things that decided the game further on. I want to start with the NRG Baron, which spelled good things. I mean, they kept their composure so well in these moments.
Yeah, and I think this is something that they'd want to be able to build on. There's a Rift Herald here that we're watching earlier on. They had pretty good objective control throughout this series, so they could
Warnanya padahal udah mantep banget loh.
laning phase and then get kills. And now you can see this is where the Baron sequence started. It was actually a mistake by NRG. So Ignar ends up getting caught. You can see NRG was not necessarily looking for a fight here. And at the time, I thought this was going to be a Baron, and that NRG was a little bit mad for trying to contest it 3 versus 5.
And this is something that the LPL just does better than any other region. They were able to get that catch on Ignar because of the traded flash they had earlier on Light. They punished mission cooldowns at every turn. And at that point, after these two died, like you said, Jet, I was like, well, that's Baron, that's probably the game.
Kira-kira Nujus bakal tampil gak di final ntar? Mungkin tampil sih, tapi yang pasti katanya tuh Hairstyle bakal tampil nanti ya. Kalau Hairstyle tampil itu mereka penyanyi itu bakal datang kah atau tampil secara virtual aja nanti ya?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is something we saw from NRG domestically, right? Like, I remember a game versus C9 that no one thought they were going to win, and their Baron setups were surprisingly good, especially when, like, protecting it, which is kind of shocking because then they also had the opposite happen to them.
Yes, we're going to take a look at it right now, and it's just the example that you can't let up for 1 second even in games like this.
Yeah,
come on!
This is a sequence where NRG actually manages to kill the Shy.
Yeah.
Except they expend so many cooldowns, and they're just never able to get close to Light's Aphelios. You can see white, green guns. Those are the perfect guns for the Baron. And Weibo is just absolutely relentless with their control of this objective.
Yeah, and as you walk through, you will see the main problem, as you pointed out, Chat, is that no one can touch Light, and when you try to get on him, he has that Melio to help buff him up and keep him topped off. So he is able to just free fire from the back line. It does not matter that they are 4v5.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the big weaknesses here with NRG is if you're not dominating the objectives and forcing your opponents to come to you, then you have no ability to actually start out the fights, right? Because not only is there cleanse, there's also Breath of Life as a second cleanse and an AoE heal. There's Cozy Campfire, so he has additional range when he's already outranging you. And then he has heal on Melio. He already had more defensive items. So, you know, it was really going to be a game about could they actually get to Light, but they were just never really able to do it. And you can see the damage tells the story here as Light just went crazy.
Senna ada masa paling gede ya.
Built around him, they played around him, and they were successful in it.
And one thing that Weibo did do really well, I thought, was making sure that they were getting the gold on the Aphelios, right? Like, it wasn't just that early gank from WeiWei, but it was making sure, like, every time NRG were moving around.
Dilihat dari kasus KDA sih kemungkinan visualnya ada penyanyinya datang. Iya, kalau kayak KDA dulu ya, semoga aja sih.
We have to go to break. Is there one thing NRG has to change? They're still on blue.
I think they're going to change their first pick or the Renata ban. So either their first pick Aphelios or ban Aphelios for Renata.
Okay, let's see what happens. We'll be right back with game 2 between NRG and Weibo.
Flash, stun, follow-up coming in from Contracts. The Shy trying to get back. He goes unstoppable. They wanted to save a little bit of extra damage. They don't quite have it.
Fight with Renekton.
Yeah, I'm coming, guys. I'm coming.
Yeah, I'm on his hunt, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, fighting with... you
Nice.
see them, guys. Okay, you see them.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
Don't blow over the wall. The Shy in the ground. NRG get 2. Show who somehow staying alive as Light kills Contracts. NRG will fall, and Weibo are the ones to knock them down. All 5 still alive.
The Shy.
LPL takes game.
Itu siapa tuh gambar Atrox ya? Satu lagi siapa tuh? Besok yang main Gen versus BLG, abis itu JDG KT, abis itu LNG T1. Anjir, T1-nya hari Minggu anjir, gue kayak Minggu nggak nobar deh, lupa gue. What you play? Boys, ngiklan dulu bang. Wih, seru nih. Wih, nanti bakal lawan Volibear. Ngiklan dulu ya bang ya, mumpung lagi World nih. Ngiklan dulu bos. Minggu nobar juga bang, belum tahu sih. Kapan lagi Nunuan dan Wildan? Nanti malam ya di sana. Nanti malam kita lanjut lagi. Ada WRL tuh. Cisco apa sih kulkas? Itu pintu panas. Cisco modem. Oh, modem perusahaan IT, server. Oh. Red Bull gives you wings.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Tuh, udah hafal gue iklan aja.
Say hi to Glenn from work.
We have plan from Verizon.
We switched to my plan from Verizon.
That is a good plan. Glenn.
It is a good plan.
Just $25 when you bring your own phones. Plus, save when you add perks like the Disney bundle. It's your Verizon. How do we keep falling on? Lights flicker from afar. I'd rather stay in the dark if I'm with you.
Halo Karis Mahendra, terima kasih telah menjadi membership selama 5 bulan. Cisco B2B, jadi jarang orang yang tahu B2B apa tuh. Beleguk tuh beleguk. Lu main reverse 199 enggak? Enggak, soalnya reverse nggak ada top up-nya di gua, jadi gua nggak main. Kayak Metal Slug dulu kan langsung ada top up-nya di gua tuh. Nah, kayaknya kita live-in main. Oh, bisnis to bisnis. Oh, ibaratnya kayak inilah ya, kayak bisnet tuh dulu kan kayak penyalur internet, tapi biasanya tuh yang pakai bisnis kan. Ibaratnya kayak gitu ya. Berarti dia perusahaan IT misalnya yang ngurusin internet untuk yang di perusahaan-perusahaan gitu ya. Misalnya kayak masang LAN di dalam kantor, WAN-nya gitu-gitu ya, servernya. Gambarnya kayak jembatan anjir ikonnya. Jarvan kok laris di World ya, apakah akan laku juga di WingGrip? Di WildRift juga lumayan laku sih. Di World emang dari dulu Jarvan selalu kepake. Kursi Secret Lab boleh nggak sih Bang Riot? Aku mau yang Lilia Bang Riot, bisa request nggak? So DM ada top up aja Kur? Ada, langsung DM aja. Nanti malam live kan, share malam live. Nobar WRL nggak ada sih gua akses buat nobar WRL. Kur bisa top up ROX harusnya bisa. Langsung DM saja. Gimana Kur, Song of Nunu udah tamat? Baru gue main 2 jam. Nanti malam kita lanjut lagi. Oh iya, kita lupa bikin pool anjir. Keren nih kayak lagunya. Gue nungguin ininya nih. Referensi mana ref ini? Avatarnya dilepas bajunya Kur, dibuat hitam, mata hijau, rambut putih. Mata hijau, rambut putih. God.
Welcome back to the League of Legends World Championship in 2023. It's the quarterfinals. It's NRG going up against Weibo. Game number 1 was a back and forth brawl, but it was Weibo who proved to be the superior team yet
again. Laptop baru udah siap rilis skor. Akhir tahun kalau nggak akhir bulan ini kalau nggak awal bulan depan.
I think I know what the problem was for game number 1. Azale was wearing that headset. Here, take this, clean that up.
Oh, okay.
Get every bit of the curse off the headset, wipe that sucker down, and we'll get into this one. The first game was so competitive here. Let's see what the draft added.
Ini mereka duduknya sesuai role-nya juga nggak sih, kayak Baron paling kiri gitu.
Really did feel the lack of a primary team fight engager.
Yeah.
And really good job from Weibo there, pulling the trigger on those Barons, then just protecting Light with everything they had.
Again, though, for NRG, you can still take hope from that game, right? You can see where it kind of went a bit wonky in the draft. You still ran the early game. You still were able to beat Weiwei in a lot of these situations and shut down his potential early plays. So for NRG, honestly, I'd be like, lads, we can't do this. We've just shown that it's only 1 or 2 things that went awry. Everything is still left to play for.
And everything's looking eerily like
Anjir, telat banget bang, udah nge-ban 3 aja tuh. Oriana, Nico, Rakan, another Apelios, another Rel, Renekton. Tadi ADC-nya Sena, ada Sena main ya, Sena sama Tamkens. Kira-kira sekarang siapa ya? Oke, Vi, another Kesante. Rumble, Rumble di ban. Yep, another Nico.
You don't have to like get a lucky flank or flash onto them or something with it.
And even just taking the Kasante as well means that you don't have that big beefy frontliner. That's easy then for Light to try and hide behind. Still getting a lot of the same stuff though coming through with this Nico now.
And that was my idea of what NRG were thinking with their Gnar ban last time around on ban number 5. They were thinking, hey, Weibo probably going to save the counter pick for the Shy, so we'll ban Gnar and we'll try and get Kasante after they show first, but Weibo beat them to the punch. So NRG now have bumped up the Kasante pick here before ban.
Siapa bakal di ban ya? Dia mesti nge-ban ADC-nya. Hah, Senanya di ban? Serespek itu kah?
The Sen is going to be gone. You can probably look at something like the Kaisa being taken off the board here as well. Just trying to limit that pool. Maybe you want to look at something like a Jinx. We've seen us kind of
dia bakal nge-ban siapa nih Baronnya nih? Renekton.
So the 2 picks at the
Gnar. Supportnya siapa yang bakal di-ban sama dia? Rakan.
The Aatrox necessitates a ban though. So we'll see if NRG can spread their focus here, or if they actually do want to take that one away as well.
I'd rather the Renekton. I think Renekton is.
Sena Tamken sudah bully parah soalnya. Tapi tadi kayak mereka kalah kan ya di bawah.
He always looks fantastic on that pick.
Oh, Ziggs.
Such a good job of bullying the Kasante when it comes into lane. So I'd much rather see that one banned away than the Aatrox. On the upside though, the Ziggs ban, a curious one. I mean, this is something that Light has played and definitely something that I think is incredibly strong. But it's not something that I would have expected NRG to bring into the series today.
Yeah, NRG have talked about how they have so many picks
Viego
in their pockets. Maybe this is one of them from some of the scrims there.
Viego di ban. Mereka ngarep Viego-nya bakal Baron gitu. Atau relnya dijadiin support gitu.
Alright, final ban of the draft is the Viego from NRG's side, and there is the Aatrox you guys are talking about.
Aatrox diambil. Wih, seru nih Aatrox yuk. Kita nobar bareng nggak sih Nardi? Zeri, Kaisa sih, bener. Nggak ada lulu support lagi guys ya, support lulu. Ini harusnya nyari support sih ya. Oh, Nadar Milio. Bentar doang paling gas saya ke Discord gue. Nadi lu dadakan ya Discord gue yang ini.
Well, it looks like a very different draft, a very different style of play for NRG's side. But over for Weibo, it's 3 of the picks being exactly the same. Make it 4 as the Melio is locked in next to the Ophelios, guaranteeing that the Rel is in the jungle once more. The only thing changing for Weibo in this game is the Aatrox into the K'Sante.
I think it is a bit of an interesting one though to see Weibo still prioritizing the
yang Kurohiko 2ND Nardi.
Crisp hasn't had the best of times trying to play engage supports. Domestically, you think of like, I mean, there's a meme with his Nautilus hooks. His Nautilus hooks kind of send him in, don't bring anyone else, and then you give over a kill as Weibo. So I definitely think it's been a case of, well, Crisp is feeling more confident on these styles of picks, and you will have to see if you're going to have enough of that anti-engage setup and enough of that well, let's get rid of the CC to set up here for a light, because this is way more dive focused and way more targeted focus on him than the last round.
Yeah, Weibo have so many options, right? With their comp, they can both play to peel and kite back, as well as to set up their own plays, set up their own initiative, especially with Xiaohu and Weiwei again. I also feel like Weibo are going to have more damage if NRG don't have a good beginning to the game. So I think the early stages of the game might be critically important for NRG to start.
NRG di blue side lagi. Harusnya tukeran kan?
Bisa milih yang kalah milih.
Oh.
Jadi tiap kali ada yang kalah dia milih side. Mau lu kalau misalkan orang lebih jago di red side, ya udah kadang kalah juga tetap milih red side gitu.
Ini udah milih blue side nih tetap kalah.
Biasanya mereka sesuai itu apa biar mereka.
Well, let's rock and roll. It's time for game number 2. Remember back in game number 1, we had a very, very close match for a very long time. It was NRG often just a little bit ahead in terms of the gold, 1 or 2,000. But once Weibo finally took control over the game,
Weibo apa? Apa nggak bisa dibuka? Gue tutup aja maksudnya. Ini game apa bang? League of Legends. Energi Amerika ya? Ya NRG.
Bot lane support for themselves. If NRG fail here, then it's going to be very rough.
All right, as the minions are about to spawn, a reminder. Remember that you can log into your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons. That's right now. Worlds is live. Go do it.
Nggak sopan banget.
You can see Weibo starting their own jungle path here with the enemy Raptors, as Weiwei is going to steal that one away, and Contracts now under pressure from the enemy jungler. He's going to have to be careful. It's level 1.
Kuat banget apa? Dia ngambil buff sih ya, jadi sakit buat damage ya. Anjir. Dia udah level 2 barusan ya? Anjir. Oh. Sama ini juga sih. Darahnya udah habis banyak sama buff anjir. Wah anjir.
Delayed, and they don't see it in the fog of war. It's so good with the Rel, with so many of these jungle champs nowadays having really powerful AoE options available to them. With Rel, with the Q, he runs Contracts off, he gets the flash, he gets his whole red side.
Nggak ada cok, landing juga males gitu datang cuy, rugi minion soalnya. Beda sama di WildRift ya, di WildRift bisa ditinggal, langsung datang.
Kalau WildRift lu bisa pas clear datang.
Contracts is going to have a dangerous time fighting his way out of this one and back into
baru nyampe temen lu, musuh lu udah farming enak di lane. Anjing mau di-cut juga. Wah, nggak segitunya nggak sih, Bang? Iya, nggak kena ya. Miss, Cok. Kalau nggak miss tadi
kalau nggak miss itu bawah mati itu satu.
Yeah, because he shows bottom there. And there's no move from either the solo lanes. That is going to be some welcome catch-up for Contracts.
I think it's a massive mistake from
Batu
Weibo.
juga diambil.
Like you try and look, Weiwei could have gone through.
Gagal sih ke bawahnya tadi.
And started contesting that top side with the push the Shy has. Instead they go for that play on bot side, but level 2 gets hit, yeah. But then you look at like, well, I'm rel into Alistair. Alistair literally counters me. He's great because he can.
Hai Kurohiko Langsung.
You don't really have the tankiness then to try and follow through, and it's not like FBI and Ignar are kind of a pushover. Now Contracts looking on this top side after picking up some of those camps.
Can dikelola force the Shy's hand here though? Q3?
Nope, goes for it. Does not collide on the target, but just goes after him.
Mampus lu.
Maker to immediately push the Shy back. Vault Breaker goes out. The Shy flashing away. Doesn't hit with the Q3. Doesn't hit with the infernal change the counter attack. So the Shy losing flash there.
All right, so Contracts can now retreat back to his grump, into his wolves. His Raptor's gonna get stolen on second respawn here though by WeiWei.
Ambil lagi ayam. Punya gua nih cuy. Anjir. Langsung bersih gitu anjing.
Also an area that's very comfortable for Xiaohu to play off of.
I think this is good from Weibo though.
Lebih kencang dari wing rip clearnya bangke.
Performing at their best here at the World Championship. It has been through Contracts, but WeiWei spotted it on this ward. He should be in just a moment.
Yep.
So NRG will know this is coming.
So they do have dikelola and Pal Fox possible teleports to be able to teleport to tower.
All right, here we go again. WeiWei command looking for the shattering strike.
Allah.
Again, he doesn't find what he's looking for. WeiWei's got to try to get
Udah sih Bang, udah boleh farming sih.
The ignite used by Ignar just to guarantee if they kept that play going, WeiWei would have died.
They're not getting the kills, but NRG are under a lot of pressure on the spot side. You're looking at the CS. It's about a 10 CS lead going across to Weibo on that bot end because they're constantly being forced on NRG side to give up CS, back away from the turret every time this
Takut
wave
ini biar bisa kabur aja gitu pakai skill 2-nya.
little leads for Weibo despite the fact Weibo's not
At this tournament, bot lane prowl has been primary for Weibo. They've stuck to these range supports back over and over and over. They use that to get their turret plates, to get their minion waves built up, so you can have these visits down here. And Light definitely paid them back in the last
Perlu main low PC nggak?
You guys are talking about the bottom lane CS advantage. It's the smallest one on the Rift. Top lane, it's a lead for the Shy. Mid lane, it's a lead for Xiaohu. Weibo is just outlaning energy across the Rift right now. They've got a 600 gold and no kills.
Akhirnya. Lalu cacat anjing ini. Kalau Pelio surutnya lock target kan? Enggak ya? Oh iya. Yang kena BC attack itu jadi bisa dirut ya? Lah bukannya udah terbang tadi anjing? Belum.
And that's a big wave built up too. FBI here after the visit from Contract should be fine. But man,
wah kagak lihat semalam live WildRift. Tadi malam gue live ini live game Nunu, game baru dari Riot. Nonton aja tuh, udah gue public live.
This is what we were talking about, right? When you look at NRG, we kind of were like, look, FBI needs to get up and running early. You want him to be in a position where, like, okay, we can actually look maybe towards these things like early dragons after we find a couple of successful ganks from Contracts in the bot lane, try to set ourselves up for team fights so we can play around. But with how Weibo are dictating the pace of this game, you're going to have an opportunity for Light to start to scale into a position where he's comfortable. The big question for me is kind of looking at things like
halo Purin, makasih telah menjadi membership selama 13 bulan Purin. Milio nggak boleh item support, dia jungle anjir. Milio ada tuh item supportnya. Lu kira tadi lu bilang rel. Item supportnya itu tuh yang kayak pedang itu tuh. Itu kayak sabitnya lah di ini. Itu tetap nyerang musuh kan ya? Ya, kayak Spectrasical.
Kalau di WildRift kan ada kalau di sini lu apa ya tadi beda.
And there's a Xiaohu, and there's a WeiWei, and there's a ton of Weibo members that want to get involved.
Yeah, the return of the focus to bottom lane for Weibo. Oh, here we go.
Xiaohu trying to get out of this one, dropping the clone, using it to be able to block the Vault Breaker. That clone is so powerful because of its ability to block things.
Yeah, so strong though for Weibo, splitting the map with their starting straight from level 1 and being able to control this bottom side, because when you scale into the game with an enchanter on your team, it makes those team fights so easy to play out.
Also, having control over contracts means he's massively far behind and trying to hit level 6. Didn't go towards his top side to get the camps there that were respawning. He's now picking up his red that just respawns on bot side. But when you look at WeiWei, he gets 2 camps. He's going to be able to hit level 6.
Bang, lihat rahasia Wildrift semalam kan dibilang gua main Nunu game Nunu.
And get a reset in if he hopes to match where the strength is of the Rel right now.
Rel translating that strength up into the top side. River going for a quick Rift Herald. You can see Crisp rotating up here alongside Light. Weibo is bringing the entire team to guarantee that they have
Anjir tuh. Nico jadi minion, guys.
Behind, I would be surprised if they really want to try to contest this at all. The Herald already mostly dead. One more eyeball proc plus a smite should just seal the
Smite dari buang.
There it is. Weiwei picks it up. Weibo are getting everything in game 2.
And it's just playing off of so well around this bottom side of the map. And this, as Kobe was saying, has become the Weibo special, to be honest, both in playoffs, regional finals, and now at the World Championship. Weiwei going for these level 3 ganks consistently on the bot side, trying to make sure that anyone that Light and Crisp are up against are under pressure. And they keep going. His losses all over the place, man.
And we get the -1. Come on. Make it stop, Flowers.
I don't think Weibo are taking their foot off the gas pedal anytime soon, man. These guys are looking like a machine here in game number 2. Light's already got his Berserker's Greaves. He's still got another CS advantage. This guy's just insane.
Final minggu ini kah? Final tanggal 19.
Shehu gonna have control. Rift Herald down in the plunket there. Make sure you're able to get the charge, get more gold into Light's hands, and then again just let Light be this massive Aphelios with the accompanying Melio. And it's again just trying to play off the fact that you've got the enchanted set.
Gua nggak bisa nobar WRL, guys, nggak ada akses. Udah pernah gue minta dulu nggak dijawab.
He's on the bottom side of the map. Haven't seen this before. Kyle Fox gonna run away though and dodge the snare.
And you can see him dodging that snare away. Remember, this is our featured matchup, the junglers and mid laners, Contracts and Palafox versus Weiwei and Xiaohu. Featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. So much for both teams revolves around how these duos interact. And so far in this one, Weiwei's early control of the jungle, y'all already talked about it, is allowing Weibo
to ngapa-ngapain 0-1 cuk udah 10 menit.
Nggak
ada kontes.
Weiwei punching last now as he's able to get the win in the last game, now controlling this as well. I think you need to find a way to shut this down.
Yang kiri udah pada kena mental kayaknya
from the
kalau
rafters
mekanik
with the steel chair that comes in and says,
lagi.
my featured matchup knocks everybody out down there. Let's see if he can do it again. Also, I have in the back of my mind this Aatrox that we were talking about in draft for the Shy, and how it has been, along with the Gnar, his preferred pick into the Cassante. We're gonna get to see
Anjir, masih nggak di hit sama turret.
His one item, and we start to see the transition of the teams into more of those skirmishes.
Yeah, the Shy's Aatrox, nothing to be messed with, man. This guy is so good in the champ.
And remember, at the beginning of the tournament,
mau jam mana core kayak tidur deh.
Without Aatrox, but he said after that one, his coaches talked to him and they're like, "Hey, yo, so Freak buffed up the Gore Drinker and a lot of the. Never mind, we're gonna go for a bottom.
Nah, ini dia nih.
Energy, they kill the ward, they're still gonna go.
Energy wants to make the 4-man play. They got the Unbreakable Will and they're ready to start. Weiwei's over here. The counter when they jump in, the Killer Instinct's gonna find Light. And he's already down. Ignore with the flash away to make sure he doesn't pay one back. Pop Blossom only finds one.
Oh, midnya teleport. Anjing. Mampus. Mampus anjing. Di flank 2 orang, Cok. Alas ya, boy. Alas ya, boy.
Teleports down behind them and slams the door shut behind Energy after what was a successful dive onto Light, killing.
Wih, statistik apa nih? Damage.
The Shy is here. There's no escape. They grab the extra kills, and while Dokla does get played on the top side, the Shy will get the same bottom, and there is a Dragon up, so you can use Rift Herald mid, transfer that mid pressure over towards the Dragon as well.
Bang, lu dukung siapa? WBG.
Only 4 in that specific engagement. Dokla luckily still alive in the
other. Apa? Nadi?
But now, a TP coming in. They want to try to get something back. Gopes wants to get involved. They're going after Crisp and Weiwei. Crisp, low HP, still trying to get himself out. But Dokla's not going to get much of anything. The Drake is at least alive. Energy might be able to use this momentum to try to snowball into that neutral objective as the Shy retreats back underneath the tier 1 turret.
Energy are playing for the Dragon, but it's Weibo playing for plates on this Aphelios. You can see immediately immediately Light enters up towards that top side. He wants to try and push in and get a few more of these plates. And you can see here, as we start to go for this dive, Ignar immediately pops the Unbreakable win. He's fine, will to actually go for this dive. They get on towards Light, immediately get rid of him. But it's the TP from the Shy who's just come off of reset. It's the ulti from Shehu that actually gets interrupted by Contract. But now you're incredibly separated. FBI is taking a ton of damage, and there's just nowhere for NRG to escape to.
Yeah, the Shy came in first, or the Shy came in second. Xiaohu
Timing Atroxnya datang juga pas anjir. Jadi nggak bisa kabur.
Itu kayaknya dua-duanya kalinya barengan deh. Atau enggak? Mungkin kalian barengan, cuman beda tempat aja.
Game number 2 here in this series is feeling a lot more like the first time we saw these two teams fight all the way back.
Kenapa nggak di flank aja ya barusan?
Just absolutely running the map. Energy does not seem to have much of a response for what these guys are bringing, even when they do make a play. Weibo just makes one better.
And the problem is for NRG that you don't really have control now on this top end. So when Rift Herald starts to spawn, if you contest Rift Herald,
diam-diam wae kor ngantuk.
which is all going to go in favor of Weibo anyway.
Kan nobar ya, bukan nge-case.
He's in such a good spot.
Yeah, and it's so difficult too because Weibo, with this very tanky bruiser build for Aatrox with the Gore Drinker into the Sterix Gauge, very too powerful item combination by the way.
Kan ada sepatu tele. Itu WingRip aja sepatu tele.
So Weibo have an easy time clearing out the vision, and then you constantly have to check over your shoulder. Where's the
orang bawa teleport dari Wibu. Emang dua semua sekarang cuy. Mid sama Baronnya emang pakai teleport semua sekarang. Si Energy juga kok tuh pakai teleport juga Oriananya.
In top, pushing in mid, actually will give them first move over towards this Rift Herald. I thought Weibo would have been happy to try and answer with a push in top, but they're just not in position.
Top emang biasa wajib.
Alright, the Shy is kind of coming over.
Kalau mid tergantung scaling atau enggak. Dan kalau scaling biasanya musuhnya di Montomor ngikutin tail.
Rugi kalau nggak bawa juga.
There are no turret plates available for this one. You just saw how much extra money Weibo had gotten off of turret plates here, so they don't feel too bad about just giving this lone secondary Rift Herald up.
Baron juga gitu sih. Kalau musuh doang yang buat tele, ala rugi minion kita anjir. Nanti kalau T1 masuk final bisa kalau bincang-bincang. Kayaknya sih nggak masuk final T1 ya rep ya.
Red, even support is 900 gold ahead here in this game. Weibo running every single matchup.
Iya, masih quarter final nih hari Minggu ini.
I believe they're still loading the energy bars, okay?
Bang, masih gini-gini aja nih, Bang.
We'll get that
That's what we'll go with.
Get that fixed for you real quick.
Quick reminder, LoL Esports does not recommend lethal levels of copium. Just going to go ahead and add that disclaimer there with an asterisk.
I'm well adapted to it, though, because I've been on it for 12 years.
And the minions take
Besok gue nobar lagi sih, sampai Sabtu. Gue lupa deh jadwal gue. Sampai Minggu gue ngambil juga.
But still, taking another objective from their opponents, they now have a 2-0 turret lead 16 minutes into the game.
I mean, I appreciate the silver linings, but I think for NRG, they want to try and get a little bit more here. You see Shehu's on this top side. They have to be careful of not losing mid off the back of this, but can they get the dive?
Looks like they're coming around forward. Ignar not going to go in. They do not have eyes on the rest of Weibo. They do not want to overcommit.
And that's the thing, the lack of vision's really hurting them. With Weibo,
oh iya, gue sampai Minggu ternyata cuy.
What's been happening mid, top, river, even their own jungle. It's been really hard for NRG to get this vision deeper onto the top side so they can try and make these plays. So when it's only Light who's actually shown on the map, they're a bit wary of trying to go for these plays, especially with the Shy having that TP up again.
The Shy has that Sterix Gauge now fully completed. The item comparison in top lane is just absolutely massive. 1 mythic plus 2 cloth armors and
sampai Minggu kok nobat T1. Iya, ternyata gua ada juga jadwal Minggu.
The Shy is running this show.
Minggu juga bisa kali kalau gua ada waktu nobar. Aman.
Meanwhile, the Rift Herald summoned up here in the top lane. That's going to guarantee they can take the tier 1 turret. We'll see if they want to try to push it ahead to gain anything else.
Duh, gini-gini dong, cu. Capek bet anjir liatnya.
Nunggu Baron ini baru perang ya.
Alistar.
Cuma diambil satu side doang.
T1 hari Minggu. Lawan siapa T1-nya? Lawan LNG sih. Ya, menang T1 mah.
Razor, Weibo right now have so many options, like we said. The side lane as well as the team fight here. So with this dragon, maybe the vision advantage could be something that NRG can use to get a foothold back into this game.
Contract's just ticking over to level 9 as well. He's been put really far behind. I think it's a bit of a one-way ticket for him if he goes in, but he might need to punch that to try and get this fight started for NRG.
Meanwhile, back in mid, it's the Magnet Storm committed by WayWay, forcing out the unbreakable will from Ignore. That means that not only
Bang Yan nggak lab katanya.
Alistar 2, if he decides to go in, he's not getting back out.
Jam 5
Energy
cuy.
decides to fight.
Main game Nunu katanya nanti jam 5.
Fighting was making me real nervous here. And especially after that, looks like NRG will just give it up. Dragon number 2, not going to move the needle on the entire game.
It's just unfortunate for NRG that
Elden Ring.
when they look at the map state, they can't really get much more for the Dragon.
Elden Ring itu game single player kan? Cuman bisa co-op gitu ya?
Cuman bisa kayak tiap bos, depan bos lu bisa kayak manggil temen gitu.
Oh iya, berarti kayak Genshin ya?
Iya, mirip Genshin.
Berarti untuk cari party itu kayak find party gitu? Atau create party gitu-gitu? Atau orang bisa datang ke world itu? Oh, lu belum main juga?
Iya, Elden gue udah beda soalnya. Kalau di Dark Souls, dia tuh jadi kayak ngasih portal gitu. Itu di depan pintu bos ada kayak portal, lu pencet nih, nanti kesamen.
One lazy transition from one side of the map to the other.
Harganya berapa kur Song of Nunu? 270.000.
And change the course of their fates.
I mean, we've seen it happen to North American teams a lot of times in the past at these international events when they get leads and they then have one of those lazy transitions. They don't do their due diligence setting up for an objective and the other squad will end up punishing them. We've been praising NRG for how they've played a lot of these fights, how they managed in their ability to qualify for the quarters final stage, and in that first game, even though they lost, they had a lot of good looks. But now, can they weather the storm? Can they play from behind and manage to find that angle?
They have a lot of people hovering on bottom side. Alistar was seen in the river. Contract's still here, though. Remember, with this tanky bruiser build, though, Merc Treads plus the Starage Gauge pop.
Nunu lo beli atau dikasih Riot, Bang? Dikasih Riot. Gua minta lebih tepatnya.
Baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 10.000. Request champion di turni bisa ge, Bang?
Bisa. Tapi requestnya cuman boleh ke Sante, Kaisa, saya, Rel, sama Nico.
Yeah, NRG have to at least have the Rage Blade on FBI to have a hope here.
Harga soft udah 70k include tax. Iya, kalau di Steam kan yang nanggung taxnya itu udah di Steam langsung, saya ingat gue ya. Jadi harga gamenya itu saya tahu gue udah include tax kalau di Steam.
We'll see how long NRG can hold on and try to get themselves the angle to bring things back. Because right now, Weibo's still running the show. They're up 3,000 gold. They're up 1 Drake. They're up 1 turret. And they're still pushing out the waves up here in the mid lane. 21 minutes into the game, the Baron's live. It's control over the top side river for Weibo.
The Contract's just trying to sneak in, get vision, make sure that you're actually able to keep eyes on this. They're looking at WayWay, but they don't know where Weibo is, so good call, back away, and just try and keep doing what you're doing. Get gold onto Palafox, get gold onto this Kaisa, catch the waves. Like, yes, Light is going to become a monster.
Kalau di turni nggak terlalu mandang KDA ya. Iyalah, buat apa KDA ini? Asal nggak ngefit aja mah. Anjir, kenceng banget. Kayak flash. Anjir.
A little bit more damage from Light is not enough to finish off the kill on the Energy support, but they claim the tier 1 turret, they claim flashes from both bottom laners of Energy.
Critical victories here from Weibo might even allow them to start up this Baron. FBI got sent back to base. He's got his flash, he's got his Rage Blade. NRG.
Dokless stepping up, using the power of the Cassante to just be that big meatball that can walk up here and just dare these guys to hit him. He knows he's not really in danger of dying unless they full commit.
Summit sekarang wajar nggak sih? Wajar, tapi kalau nggak bisa main mending yang lain aja, Magi aja yang lagi OP.
Yeah, I mean Dokless Cassante, but you have to be careful you don't Cassantes, because at the moment with Light being as strong as he is and having all the CC.
Semua Magi pakai aja, mau pakai brand kayak, mau pakai Vegar kayak.
If you're by yourself like that and Ignar is in the base, you just don't have the team fight set up for NRG right now.
I think some of the best things that Dokless could do actually would just be to try and keep Xiaohu out if he's able to use his W, use his ultimate to keep the Nico engage away, then NRG can use the Orianna plus Vi guaranteed engage onto
Terima
Light
kasih,
and actually kill off
senpai.
the fellows.
Mifta
If
baru
they can
saja
make that
mengirimkan
happen,
dukungan 5.000.
and take
Bangkur
those big
Galep.
tools away from Weibo,
Nanti malam
then maybe they can carve their way
main
back
Nunu.
into it and allow FBI to run rampant. But it's definitely going to be much more dangerous for him without that flash.
And I think that's why we got to look at the Dragon that's in 35 seconds. Already Weibo looking to try and fight for mid party, lean down to that bot side. They have the vision that they need to actually settle into this river. And then for NRG, it's been trying to fight back this mid wave.
Leksadiva baru saja mengirimkan dukungan
They don't have
5.000.
control of their bot wave
Menurut
either.
lu
So
siapa
this is
yang
really
bakalan
tough for
juara?
NRG to fight.
Okay.
Nah, bakalan juara siapa ya? JDG kayaknya banyak orang yang ini JDG sih.
And Rageblade already
Favorit
been
sekarang
done for
JDG sama Genji
FBI.
paling.
Alright, NRG have control over top side.
JDG antara Genji berarti
Shy
guys.
still hanging around the bottom half of the map, but remember,
Genji soalnya
level
terakhir main lagi
15
bagus.
Aatrox does have a teleport that he can use.
Topinya lagi
NRG are going to
nge-carry
start up the
parah
Baron.
banget.
They're daring Weibo to come and answer. Palafox throwing the ball into the brush. Weiwei having to back away again now.
Kok miring gitu senternya Bang BTW? Anjir, cepet banget.
Peliasnya bahkan nggak ngurangin sama sekali darahnya.
Anjir, Aatrox.
And Palafox and Dokla can do nothing but look on as Weibo will absolutely
Lah, free Baron.
The combo was separated.
Cepet banget tadi.
And Weibo pounds immediately onto RNG and now they turn towards the Baron.
Ya, tapi dia yang nge-star Baron aja.
6,000 HP and dropping. Game number 1 they had to do a 3v5, now it's a 2v4. Dokla going in. They're trying to find the damage onto Weiwei. Dokla kills him off.
Gak masalah sih. Cuman kalau nggak bisa kill sih takut juga. Nggak jadi Baron. Masih ada Orianna ternyata.
Orianna masih sakit.
Keculik anjir relnya bangke bah.
Ditarik-tarik sama itu kesandet.
Well, Palafox and Dokla.
Wajir Orianna.
Dokla here, he's got his teleport. They're gonna go for it. They go for the same.
Lah. Waduh, gawat dong, dapet dong ini. Tapi lihat Aatrox ya. Aatrox ada ulti ya? Ada. Oke, gas Aatrox. Aduh, ada. Nah, aja di mampus. Goodbye sih, lihat Apelios ya. Mamam anjing. Masih cepet itu spawnnya cuy, jadi nggak bisa Baron. Ngambil Baron nggak sih? Enggak ya?
Cuman si itu doang, sisa di fight doang Baron banget.
Oh, real tadi yang buka warnya.
Which separates the combo here. So even though you get the buy on towards Light, there's no shockwave to keep in place.
Tuh, Kaisa ulti langsung dikejar Aatrox anjir.
And as FBI gets blown in, the Shy immediately
langsung di flashin.
Exactly. It was the ultimate combo breaker there for Weibo. Because you saw FBI also full scented in with contracts. The Kaisa and the Vi full on with the dive, but because they also didn't have that ball, they weren't able to get.
Nah, ini tadi nih. Nico si anjing bot ya. Double knock up nggak sih itu? Enggak ya? Bukan. Itu dia kena knock up Baron juga sih, enggak ya? Berasa tinggi banget aja knock up ya.
Unable to take down the other carry as contract sneaks away.
You just don't have the damage once FBI is down. You can see Bravo Barrett hits onto FBI along.
Dia knock up-nya pas kapan sih? Pas Nico lompat atau pas dia ke bawah? Oh. Anjir, mini stun ya.
Alright, Weiwei's the target. They're getting everything from the enemy jungler, but everything is not enough. Contracts at 200 HP is the Shy.
Bentar, kok gue kayak dejavu ya?
Dikejar kan? Anjir, di root. Oh, nggak bisa.
Up to him here from long range. They root him up. Jump forward with the Q1, ain't gonna do it. The Shy still going forward. Infernal Chains back onto the Alistar, pulls him into place.
Root itu skill 1 kan ya?
Weibo nearly gets a kill. Not quite. Positioning for Weibo mid though.
Apelios kan.
They go in, but the Pathmaker gets away back into tier 2. Is it gonna be enough just yet? Yes.
Ultinya buat ini kan, buat nge-9 base attack ya kan. Baru nanti di root pakai skill 1 gitu kan.
The tier 2, or what was left of it after the push finds its way forward. It's a 6,000 gold lead for Weibo, and they're looking for the enemy base. Weiwei leading the way, he has to crash down backwards, but a big ulti coming in from Light yet again. Ignar and Contracts now having to retreat as the tier 3 turret.
Rasa hafal senjatanya terus pakein yang meta. Mampus lu. Mampus anjir. Itu kena si ini ya.
Cuman di single doang gitu guys.
All right, they're going to back off those Nexus turrets, but look at the destruction Weibo have laid waste.
Apelios dilepas terus. Kayaknya abis ini di-ban sih.
Contracts thought he had something to say about it, but Weibo immediately shut him up. They were not
Kenapa?
put up with that. He did, it was just sorry.
Ada banyak yang bagus.
It was please don't. Okay,
Kecuali kalau emang orangnya
Respect dulu ke Apelios dulu aja kali.
All right, they're going after the Aatrox, but he's already got the Sterix. He's finding a lot of dealing, but it ain't going to be enough. Shut down over the Contracts. Xiaohu makes a TP, but what can they find? Ignar looking to regroup.
Wih anjir, langsung all in ke dia.
He slammed back into the ground and Xiaohu found him. Now we got a 4v4. Even fight. But it looks like Weibo doesn't want to take it.
This is something that in the LCS, NRG were quite adept at. Even in games where they were behind, they just
Milio gue lupa deh, skill itu naikin jarak base attack, nge-heal, apa ada attack speed juga ya?
and just try and force their way back into games. NRG were never a team to go down quietly. They always try and fight their way back into it.
And that Nerdy would have been a good pick if that gold had gone to FBI. You'll see it here, 1,000 gold shutdown of this pick onto the Shy, but it actually ends up going to Contracts in the end. They just don't quite get the kill across the FBI. They see the TP coming through from Xiaohu. They have to try and get this Aatrox off of FBI, and then at that stage, FBI's already burned Flash. Xiaohu has the opportunity to chase him down, and Weibo will happily nab him for the
Come on.
Yep. Teleport in from Xiaohu there. FBI had flash.
Range plus attack speed. Oh.
Reset once again though. Back to the action. Topside is getting pushed here by Weibo. Xiaohu got out there first. All right.
Anjir lama betul nge-clear nih.
Pull it back here. It is a full minute until the next dragon.
It's also a minute.
Anjir baru udah full tank doang ya, santai ya.
Weibo are sitting in an amazing game
Cuman
state
kalau dia
where
ulti,
they're the ones who
semua
can get the soul,
defensive
they're the
statsnya
ones
jadi
who can get the
offensive.
Baron, they're the ones who can pull energy apart to two different critical junctures of the map.
Especially if you're looking at, hey, we get Mountain Soul against this combo from NRG. That gives so much opportunity to Light to survive that big burst potential that NRG are trying to play around.
Anti heal dijadiin aja. Soalnya gede juga sih di thermal defense-nya.
This could be in shutting NRG out of this game.
Gue nggak tahu di WildRift ada atau nggak, cuman kalau di PC itu dia nge-CC nge-apply juga anti-heal.
Oh, di WildRift udah dihilangin yang itu.
Oh iya, kalau di PC mungkin masih ada yang tiap kena CC kena anti-heal. Oh, ini mati ya tuh. Oh itu damage Apelios.
Ledak-ledak anjing, anjir. Tang. Itu yang root itu kan tembaknya barusan?
Yang gue lihat sih AOE doang.
Bukan yang peluru ungu itu tadi tembakin sama Apelios.
Sebelumnya gue nggak tahu lihat.
I think Weibo are going to rush Baron. They certainly are, but so are NRG. Contracts is trying to get there early so he can get some vision.
AOE yang ini yang nyebar-nyebar itu ya. Nah, yang ini ya.
As soon as he spawns, he's right there. Ignar's got to take the long way, and I hope the Cal's been doing his cardio. Energy, there's no way they get there in time. The Baron's already at 5K. Weibo's gonna get the soul. Weibo's gonna get the Baron.
Oh, udah kelar.
Weibo's got everything. Contracts tries to get away with the Vault Breaker. Tries to stay alive. Dokla's in the middle of everybody. The Shockwave Asante. He gets the Shockwave placement over for Palafox.
Oh iya, gue lupa. Beliau dia ada anti-CC ya. Anjir, enak banget. Anjir. Anjir, healnya ngeri juga. Wah, keras juga, Cok.
As they come in with a massive counterattack, and the pop blossom claims FBI, the follow-up claims Ignar, and Weibo is
Udah,
about
ente,
to
guys.
take the game.
NRG got the shy, but Weibo are coming for the Nexus. They've got Baron and they can push hard.
They may have got the raid boss, but it's not gonna matter. Weibo still pushing. They go in after the enemy carry. Palafox trying to get away.
Meta di LoL PC sama di LoL HP sama, beda coy.
Light is legendary, and Dokla and Palafox cannot stop him. Game number 1 was close. Game number 2, absolutely not. Dokla can't do it. He goes all out, but he's only gonna buy a moment. Light is legendary.
Nico sih kayak bakal di-ban.
The Nexus is under pressure as Palafox keeps trying to fight back, but the Aphelios will take Nexus number 2, and Weibo hits match point.
Weibo are not stopping here in the quarterfinals, finding these consistent opportunities to turn around the small picks NRG are looking for and finding the win again and again.
Lah ini Kia juga sponsornya. Kayak pakai D+ dong.
Light really stepping into center stage. The Shy Aatrox also was a bit of a factor, Flowers.
Oh yeah, the Shy Aatrox showing up in the world stage yet again. Weibo we won the match point with that win, and we're going to be right back with game 3. But first, a little bit of a rewind. Let's check in what Contracts thought was his favorite moment of the G2 series, thanks to the Oppo.
Finalnya nanti siapa, Bang? Belum tahu cuy, tanggal 19.
What's up guys, I'm Contracts. Just beat G2, I'm feeling fantastic.
Gak percaya gue anjir.
If I had a favorite clip from Worlds this tournament, I think I would definitely say my EQ flash on Cap's top lane.
Tapi sayang aja gitu kalah.
Oh itu siapa sih, si Adam?
Itu tadi yang jungle energi yang ini.
Harusnya ada iklan Kurohiko top up. Nggak kuat. Top up gitu boleh gak ya? Ngiklan aja misalnya kayak Kodashop gitu.
Kayaknya boleh aja kalau kuat duitnya.
Yongdo, Kunyil Culture Village. Anjir, ada nggak tuh tempat nonton kayak gitu di Indonesia ya? Nggak ada ya? Cinemas.
Emang ini collab sama Nageo?
Apa?
Emang ini Riot collab sama Nageo?
Oh iya, NRG ya apa nih? Adventure Busan. Mending ADC-nya NRG ganti Kuro, biji lu. Ngelarin request Samira gue.
Bringing in a new roommate to save money, is that the plan?
Say hi to Glenn from work.
Yeah,
From Verizon.
a much better plan. We switched to my plan from Verizon.
You have better plan.
Glenn.
Get my plan starting at just $25.
$25 per line.
Plus, save when you add perks like the Disney bundle. It's your Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Au. Daripada pick Sante harusnya Darius itu bisa. Yang main Darius cuman Adam cuy.
Iya, susah kalau lo nggak berani.
Alhamdulillah tempat gua hujan, tempat gua nggak ajir.
Say hi to Glenn from work.
Yeah, I think I have a much better plan. We switched to my
It is a good plan.
That is a good plan. Glenn.
Get my plan starting at just $25
$25 per line.
plus save when you
Diskon
add perks
10%.
to Disney bundle. It's your Verizon.
Nunggu Kesante masuk WR. Kesante kayaknya bakal cepet masuk sih. Agenda soalnya.
Gitu ya, ngejar hard skill.
Tapi Arsenal bakal rilis tanggal 17 sih. Tanggal 17 apa tanggal 11 gitu. Yoni harusnya di top kan, Yoni OP bet di WR. Yoni biasanya jungle sih.
Kalau PC cuma bisa di mute kalau nggak top. Nggak bisa, karena jungle di sini.
Ada promote core wild core, udah habis kayaknya, udah nggak bakal ada lagi kayaknya. Serat Akur bilang ke Riot, nggak peduli Riot sama request gue. Iwan nggak main hari Minggu. Hari ini apa aja? Cuman ini doang, BO5. Kalau WBG menang nih kelar nih. Gue berharap sih WBG menang. Terus berarti gamenya ini kelar jam 6 kurang dikit. Terus gua tidur bentar, jam 8 kita lanjut Nunu. Nah kan mantap.
Ini udah pasti menang sih. Kalau ngeliat dari game 2 tadi soalnya yang ini udah ngecop, udah kayak kena mental.
Kalau enggak 3-1 lah paling ini, mentok-mentok.
Kayaknya mau 3-1 gitu. Biasanya soalnya kalau yang di stage ini begitu lu udah underperform kayak gitu udah susah buat balik.
Yoni pernah dipakai Broken Blade 1 kali. Iya pas gue nobar waktu itu ada Yoni. Yoni mid kalau nggak salah waktu itu ya.
Baron.
Baron itu ya.
Dan cuman mereka sebenarnya yang pakai Yoni itu. Cuman gitu doang.
Itu tapi lumayan bagus sih Yoni waktu itu.
Gitu doang yang kayak apa ya, kayak orang tuh pada di respect band.
Now Ignar's gonna get rooted up by the Gravitum, crash down from Weiwei, first blood, and it goes over to Griff. But
banyak
now they're trapped
piksikannya tapi karena mereka makanya jago jadinya bagus. Makanya sayang anjir dongkatnya kemarin cuma gara-gara cheese pick doang.
Now, hit front. Bell's getting really chunk, guys. Bell first. We can even take her out. Yeah, fine. Bell, yeah.
Dopa can't do it. He goes all out, but he's only going to buy a moment. Light is legendary, and Weiwei leads the charge. But the Aphelios will take Nexus number 2, and Weibo hits match point.
Light is legendary so far, and Weibo Gaming find themselves one game away from the semifinals at Worlds. NRG are with their backs against.
Kalau dia menang, yang menang ini langsung ke semifinal, guys.
Now they are truly
semifinal.
That's true. A lot of people
got them right where we want them.
Yeah.
A lot of people came into this with high expectations. Now we're back to low expectations, which is exactly where we want to be.
And I have some cope. Game number 1, They actually played it out, I think, quite well. I do think that was a very, very competitive game. Game number 2, I think they changed up the draft, and I think they set themselves up well for success. But the level 1 just went so bad that I almost felt like it was pretty doomed from there. Yes, they could have maybe battled back, but this one was tough.
And you know when you're up against a range support bottom that you want to be able to protect your
Nobar Grand Final belum dapat info sih. Kayaknya enggak.
Top side, they expend 2 wards to try and get early vision onto Weiwei. They get no vision.
Rumble tadi ke band deh. Ya tadi Rumble ke band, kalau enggak di pick pasti.
It's an absolute disaster when you're gonna expend 2 wards and then also get pushed off your red. And honestly, this, even though it would have been was GG, could have been an even harder GG, because these dives, I think a lot of the time do work.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is the execution on these dives was not perfect, right? And that kind of kept NRG in a little bit. But here's what we see from Weibo, what we've been seeing from them all tournament with okay, Weiwei, he chases Contracts out of his own jungle. Contracts is super set far behind. He visits bot. Guess where he's going next? Again, he's going into the bot lane, and you see his bot proc stats there. They've just been massive, and the whole idea is getting Light and Crisp ahead.
And I think big credit also to FBI and Ignar, who were able to dodge both the Shattering Strikes on those initial plays, but try again, they come back. This time Contracts was trying to be there to actually counter gank, but there was a deep lane ward, if you actually look on the minimap, and that spotted Contracts walking down, so they knew they had the time to make the play happen before Contracts arrived. And I think it's just been all about this.
Mulai lagi kapan bang? Ini bentar lagi.
Even though Ignar and FBI handled it well, I think they wanted to be playing this from ahead, not behind. They wanted to be playing and be able to be on the front foot and be really aggressive, but they just couldn't.
Game 3 siapa yang menang? Ini baru mau mulai game 3.
Now, and the timing was so important. Every second counts, and thanks to the reliable Cisco network, Weibo Gaming turned the bot lane dive thanks to their solo lane TPs and secure a huge team fight win, which was where we were getting a little bit sad for NRG.
And I know we've changed the camera angle, but where was this fight? Oh, that's right, it was in the bot lane.
Apanya?
So they tried to dive once again. Yes, they did kill Light in this one, but it's like a clown car of TPs. They just keep popping out new people, and the Shy was the final one.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the big thing was NRG were the ones that started this dive, right? They were trying to get the wave in. They didn't necessarily have the timing they want on that. They still ended up going for it, and they would have pulled it off if they haven't been for the Weibo TPs.
Wasn't for those pesky TPs.
Teleporter,
and also, to credit to the Shy, he actually laned really well in the 1v1 early, which forced Stokely to TP back top. So that's why he couldn't actually match the play. He had TP back to lane top.
Bang, lu tahu artis itu nambahin PP TI? Artis apa? TI Dota maksudnya. Wake up bro, Mobile Legends 500k.
If you think can go better, because they didn't just roll over and die, and that's something I have a lot of respect for NRG in this game, is that they kept swinging, they went for Barons, they looked for plays, they always kept fighting.
Dia udah masuk patch ini belum sih, Kur? Belum kayaknya.
Yeah, now we've got to have kind of what do you take from these first 2 games to get into that 3rd game? You have to get a win.
I mean, I think we take the importance of support counterpick and the importance of enchanters, right? Enchanters have been just absolutely dominating when they have been coming out. I've been such a Renata fan all year long. Weibo used Renata a lot against Fnatic. Now they're using Melio here, and that added protection is making it so even with the dive, it's so hard to take out Light. You went shield bow, plus they have Breath of Life, plus they have double shield. It's so tough to actually get through that.
And looking at the draft, you can see there's a lot of crucial things that stayed exactly the same. This rel pick here, followed by
bisa login WildRift pada sinyalnya lancar-lancar aja. Coba restart mode pesawat, matiin data, pindah wifi, pindah data. Atau login pakai Riot.
In a 3-game sweep. They've been too flexible of a team throughout the year to do that.
They have NRG with their backs against the wall, and Emily Weibo in a position where not a lot of people who have watched the LPL this year would have put them 1 game away from the semifinals.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing here is I really want to highlight Light and Crisp, right? Because I did talk about how this team was supposed to be a super team. The names on this roster were supposed to do much better than they are. A lot of people did not expect this team to be here. They thought it was going to be top esports. They thought it was going to be maybe EDG, even though they were struggling a bit. And I think the big
maksudnya only fans, anjir ngeri juga.
Light and then also Crisp. Like obviously they've been prioritizing his R5 counterpick of Melio and flexing the rel, but he is now 5-0 on this champion. He ended that game 2-0 in
Jagoan siapa di World Bang? Lawannya T1.
We know him as a world champion, but he's had a really rough year. So
siapapun lawan T1, gue dukung lawannya.
Really great.
And it's another LPL AD carry that just seems to be
karena udah saatnya tim lain menang.
Over 1,000 DPM on the Aphelios from Light. You know, I wonder, would NRG even elect to just try to prioritize the Aphelios early themselves, look for a bit of a takeaway, and try to play that style? My only concern is that Ignar is not really an enchanter guy, so I don't know that they really can play lane dominant.
My concern is that NRG, I feel like, is actually playing okay.
Yeah.
It's just right now, Weibo is playing better. So what are they going to switch up in this final draft? It's the time to do it now.
We've seen it already in Nico ban.
Nah, itu dia Nico di ban.
Let's head over to Captain. Hopefully you can give energy some hope.
Nah, di ban Aphelios ya, benar kan?
Chad, you might be getting a little ahead of yourself here. Not necessarily the final draft, potentially the final draft, because Weibo have been looking ferocious in this series so far.
Well, hopefully, that comes in the form of some reaction with this Aphelios ban. NRG have decided to mix things up here. Light has been that guy. He has been the AD carry that just pumps out damage. He has delivered back to his team for investing resources. And then one of the bans that we did drop in order to ban the Aphelios is something that NRG got the first pick here. The Rumble for Dokla, priority for top lane.
This does open.
Dijaga mulut Anda, T1 bakal lolos. Iya, santuy. T1 bakal lolos nanti ke semifinal, ke final. Tapi menang lawannya nanti.
Caitlyn immediately locked in for Light this time with the Aphelios band away. Also worth noting, the mid laners that have been
T1 udah menang berapa kali, cuy. Saatnya tim lainnya menang, cuy.
No Nico.
Weibo were more than ready with AD carry number 2. Ready to step up here. You assume it's going to be a Lux out. Will NRG slam a Blitzcrank?
Faker masih jago nggak sih? Lama nggak nonton. Masih. Wah.
Karma isn't like in the strongest individual place, but it is a very good pick into the Caitlyn Lux lane.
Yeah, specifically into that. I wasn't sure if they were going to go for something like the Ashe and just try and have that push as an answer, but I actually was, I saw the answer, I got a little bit nervous, but I think this is actually a decent spot as long as K'Sante doesn't get locked in here. Because if you end up with a K'Sante, it's going to be incredibly hard for you to actually try and get through a tanky front line that the Shy provides. So as long as you can get rid of those picks coming through here, I think you're in an okay spot.
Wih, lucu banget tuh. Binatangnya ini toxic nih guys tuh, yang di video tadi guys, yang ada di tulis-tulisan tadi.
It's not even the Lux actually that ends up getting locked in. In answer to the Karma here, they pivot to the Heimerdinger. Even after the nerfs to the turret health, it's still so good at pushing.
I think the thing is as well, it also provides a lot of AP damage on that bottom side. I think for Weibo,
relnya
a
Ben.
lot of this long range coming through with something like a Jason potentially in the mid lane. You've already got the Maokai there. And you can set up where you as NRG have to play into Weibo, and you've already got, well, Heimerdinger there, you're playing into Maokai, Caitlyn traps, Jace poke. It becomes really difficult to operate. So I think, again, NRG ban away the K'Sante, and then maybe even just chuck out a Jace ban to try and get rid of some of that long range. But I think Weibo are going to set up.
Kok K'Sante? Ngarap K'Sante bakal main di mid gitu. Sama kayak tadi yang dia ngeban apa ya tadi gue lihat ya.
This is something that was banned in the first 2 games. Having it now in this third one that could be the final game of the series is huge. So if they can knock contracts further down that tier list, could be a big difference maker. There it is, the Poppy banned away.
Yeah, they're looking at
kalau enggak emang bener mau ngeband
NRG definitely need to get some sort of structure, some setup for their team fight. But now we still are looking at what the Shy is going to be able to play into Rumble. NRG afforded another protection ban here if they want to invest it into him. You know, Aatrox is playable into Rumble, but you have to switch over to Conqueror and do the more like range poke style.
Yeah, I think you could even go for something like the Kennen if you really
Kenapa Trisana? Ngarap Trisana mid gitu.
Trisana mid soalnya pressure-nya gede banget.
And then you're in a spot where you've got 2 big heavy AD damage dealers. You've got great opportunity of NRG try to play into you, but it looks like it's not. It's going to be a case of going towards the Gnar instead. So still having a little bit of the poke coming through, but definitely another champion that thrives when you have to try and run at.
I want to see what Contracts goes here for, because they kind of need an AD jungle.
Seriusan nih ngambil Z nih. Mantep nih, gue dukung nih energi nih.
They also want more structure for their team fight, you know, more AoE.
I think Wukong is a really strong pick here. You get the team fight setup that you want for the likes of this Rumble. You get the AD jungle that you really want, and also then the speed.
Ace.
Comes out again.
Percaya sama gue cuy, santai cuy. Kalem, kalian percaya sama Yone gue nanti ya katanya. Chill gitu. Aduh, champion ngevlog lagi cocok. Lah kalah mah. Ezreal Sejuani.
I love this comp. They've got the answer for the bottom side push. They've got the attack
Dia kayak
triangle
Braum,
of their
tapi
top side of the
pasif
map.
Braumnya tuh cuma nyala kalau temennya milih.
Pasif Braum yang mana yang nge-stun?
Yang nge-stun ya, yang 40.
Oh, bisa dibantu sama teman juga.
Iya, itu bisa dibantuin temen, tapi kalau melee doang.
Ezreal biasanya bawa sial, guys.
Iya, kalau Ezreal ini gue nggak tahu.
Biasanya sih Sejuani nge-vlog ya, tiap gua nobar selalu Sejuani vlogging anjing.
Has been at the forefront of this team so often, and when you have Sejuani plus Yone and you jump on the Jace, your Yone E's, your Sejuani gets in there, you hold the Q, and you use that stun priority. If they can take control of mid lane, then maybe they can make that leak into the other lanes.
The dream team fight setup for NRG is Yone being able to ult everybody together, throw Rumble ult over the top of it, True Shot Barrage over the top of it. If they can wombo this combo, they've got a shot. But like you already said, Dagda, between Caitlyn traps and Heimerdinger turrets, Maokai saplings, there are so many obnoxious little traps that the side of Weibo can set up to utilize their zone control and their range, that if NRG messes up even a little bit, one wrong step, all of a sudden everybody's at half HP, the fight's over before it starts.
And I think we're going to see a split in priorities here on both sides because of it, right? I think when you're NRG, it's like, hey, can I play around my top side? Triple threat when it comes towards proccing the Sejuani.
Adam Smasher kapan main Kuro? Adam udah kalah kan?
Look towards bot side. You want to try and play for this Caitlyn Heimerdinger, get that push. Karma is somewhat good at being able to deny some of that with that ult Q combo. But you need to be able to let them get that vision.
Sama EU itu peramai grup stage, guys.
They have to see if they can do it one more time here against NRG.
Double death ball, 5-man play, going bot side for both teams. It is do or die for NRG. Win here or go home. Weibo dominating in game number 2 after a close game number 1.
Gua sih dukung kiri, guys, karena ada Yone, guys.
Light was able to poke off Contract's passive there.
Gua dukung yang championnya unik-unik. Main Orf kah, Gang? Bang? Main Orf nih kebetulan ya.
With the extra free
emang biasa kalau yang bot lainnya dua-duanya ada damage, mereka nyari ward dulu di bawah biar menang poking.
And a huge momentum is trying to get that deep burst in that bottom brush, so the furthest brush from you, so you can actually start to threaten on towards the wave, make sure you get that push. So NRG, it may not have looked like a win, but it is a win.
A reminder, connect your League of Legends account with Prime Gaming to grab that exclusive Braum W emote that you see all the players flashing every time something goes wrong or right.
I love the pivot too.
Yep. They're just ready to go. All right, so everything's spawning up. Relief for the NA fans in the audience. Contracts does not have Weiwei in his jungle at level 1 this time.
Okay, thank you, Nardi.
Not letting those ones go away for free. All right. Meanwhile, it is going to be a topside start there for Weibo as well. So Weiwei, again, surprise, surprise, will be pathing towards the bottom lane when you have these double shoving lanes. We'll see if Contracts is going to make some sort of early visit. Sejuani currently could have an option here through Krugs, but if you do, then you sacrifice your top quadrant.
I mean, this is definitely Contracts playing for the bot side. He's like,
Aja jelek banget skinnya ini, Cok.
every single game so far in this series, gone for a 3 camp into bot side pressure, and you can already see Contracts like, well, I'm just going to
sama Latam Kur. Latam memang ada di grup stage kemarin, enggak ada kan?
Ignar can get control of this early wave state, but it will set him behind on its clear speed.
With the counter of the Ezreal Karma and the skill shot poke here, you can also try and go for an invade on the Maokai. They did get an energy deep ward onto blue buff, so when you have control with bottom lane like this, you know, Ignar's going to be able to help out on priority.
Yeah, they go in hard after Crisp at level 1. They're not quite going to find him here, but Light and Crisp both taking a ton of damage as FBI and Ignar apply the pressure nice and early, and now it's Contracts invading Weiwei this time around.
And the bottom lane will leak over here. Karma already coming, Ignar heading up.
Crisp also rotating. He's only got 300 HP here on the Heimerdinger. Weiwei throws the sapling over the wall, goes in after Ignar. The follow-up comes out from the grenade. A lot of damage on Ignar, who has to flash away. Weiwei's ready for the follow. First blood over to Crisp. They even secure the blue. They might even find enough damage back in the Contracts. Now who has to flash away? Weiwei survives. Crisp coming up and making the plays.
There was no FBI. He never came across the play. Wasn't able to get into position. Was fighting
you
Light
make
the
a
whole
jungle
time. and it means that NRG can't win out on the play.
I feel like that's a bit of hubris from Ignar, walking into the brush, right into the face of Maokai. WeiWei can just roots you up for Chris to be able to land this, and Chris does a good job. He's hovering outside Fog of War right there, by the way. Really good job, because Weibo knew the placement of the energy ward, so Chris, he hides behind that ledge.
Itu karmanya nge-lag, gak tahu juga.
And then when Ignar walks up and gets rooted by WeiWei,
Gak tahu sih kenapa dia dalam banget gitu ya.
They thought that Chris had backed. I think Ignar was like, this is a 2v1. I'm going to make sure that there's no opportunity for any sort of smite pressure to come through, and ends up coming back to bite them. They just don't respect that Chris is still there.
Yeah, I mean, the little bits of information and knowing that your opponent knows that your ward is there is so critical.
Big difference in the reaction cam when we see Ignar here compared to what we saw in game number 1 when he made a mistake and got caught. It was more of a, oh man, that was kind of goofy in game number 1. This one, you could see the frustration in the way it played out.
And still though, you're getting control here for NRG on this bottom side. That play may have gone a little bit rocky, but 31-22 in CS. Turret plates going across. This is the
Bentar, itu kayak skill 2-nya Jess kayak kecil ya di low PC ya areanya.
Use this buff pressure to get dragons. If you're able to stop Weibo from having that tempo and having that control around the dragons, this game is going to become way easier for you.
Ajak berantem nggak sih, Bang?
Going after his favorite thing, Contracts is chicken camp. Jumping in now with a twisted advance.
Nah, makanan Jace anjir. Dia nggak ada ward ya? Oh iya.
That was like watching a matador, you know? The bull charges forward. He thought his Q was just gonna bump into WeiWei there, but he goes right through him. WeiWei, pretty smooth moves on a big old tree, dodging him out right into the hands of Xiaohu, rotating over from the Jace push on mid. And it is bad to worse. 2 kills now for Weibo, and Weibo on series point to make semi-finals at Worlds.
Yeah, I thought it was taking the Hobbits to Isengard.
Welcome back to Sejuani Vlog, guys.
It's hopping all around the map with him, and it's caused major issues. Now there's the Dragon Gun as well. Contracts is only going to be looking at that, and all this pressure that NRG had done a good job of getting with the counter pick, control in mid, is all starting to fall apart.
It was only a minute ago. You were talking about translating this pressure into a dragon and how important that was. Now only 5.5 minutes into the game. It's first Drake over to Weibo, and it's not just first Drake, it's Ocean Drake. This early in the laning phase, that's a massive advantage for Weibo all across the lanes.
All right, NRG, they need to stay calm, stay focused. Still have possibilities. Go back to the game plan here. Even with the early bumpy road,
Iwan kapan Minggu?
looks like Contracts is down there towards the bottom side, trying to make them back off. Again, though, they're having to go through Weibo vision now that they've lost the early game with these 2 kills.
Kayaknya 0-3 sih ini, guys.
Ward and Tribrush, ward up by Raptors as well. Any sort of movement down to this bottom side of the map is going to be sussed out and seen by Weibo.
It's also the fact that you're now going to start to struggle to keep control over this mid wave. It's been going relatively well for Palafox in the early stages, but now that you've got Serrated Dirt coming through from Xiaohu, you can very quickly clear out these waves, start to put a bit of pressure onto Palafox and make this lane just a little bit harder for him to keep full control on. So I think this is where you're going to see if Xiaohu and WeiWei can start to open up that pressure to alleviate
TT, guys. Hah? Apa TT, Dipta?
For Weibo to try and pressure Riptide, I feel like at the moment, with Dokla having that advantage on top end, but you still need to keep an eye out for that if you're on NRG.
The Shy going in here with the Mega Gnar combo, jumping in for an aggressive trade against Dokla. Dokla has already used his teleport to return to the lane. The Shy has not. As long as he can just
Volibear kemana ya? Jarang sih di pick Volibear sih. Di turni kayak belum, selama gue nobar kayak nggak pernah ada Volibear deh. Apa pernah ya? Kayak enggak deh.
Landing really well on the Gnar with the fleet footwork.
Orn kayaknya pernah ya. Ya Orn pernah sih inget gue. Udah mandi. Udah dari pagi.
I think they're waiting for Contracts to hit level 6. You can see him moving back down towards his bottom side.
Siang lebih tepatnya.
Red buff moving towards mid. Maybe look for
Adam pakai Volibear. Wah, udah.
Or at least have access to that ultimate as you try and make something happen, because at the moment, if you don't have it, it just becomes so much more difficult to find that engage versus Weibo when they're going to be able to use that range on the top end.
Caitlyn and Heimerdinger having the edge here in the bottom lane now with that push. Still, Slight farm advantage over to FBI because of the way that the
orang Jawa ya?
contracts now
Bukan.
at level 6. The Glacial Prison, a massive tool for being able to make these plays. Clears out that turret there in the bottom side river. Palafox also hovering down here towards this part of the mid lane just in case somebody would have came after contracts. Light going after the poke here with the Piltover Peacemakers. They want to try to go for something here.
Tas.
Fate sealed into the Glacial Prison. But the time
Mid-nya udah nge-flash.
right. Xiaohu has the opportunity to flash away.
Itu ngulti barusan si ininya ya, si Juaninya ya. Cuman nggak kena.
You don't have the ultimate for Contracts and Palafox to try and fight for Rift Herald, but it may not even be the call for Weibo. Look at Weiwei. He's like,
Gue baru tahu ternyata ultinya Genar itu dia nggak langsung gede pas penuh ya. Tetap harus dipencet ternyata ya. Nice. Mamam lu mau ngapain lagi lu Ezreal?
To pieces, Light grabs the kill. 3-0 game for Weibo.
Weiwei's back in his home, bottom lane. Good force from him with
Bang yakin banget tuh Bang mau ngambil gituan Bang. Aduh Bang.
Weiwei wants a little bit more. Can he smite fight on this? Krontex doesn't have his smite anymore. And Weiwei gets rooted up.
Yep, Weiwei rooted up. The Ignite comes down as well. Contract still going after him. Gets the Arctic Assault that time. Flashing after him.
Datang Yuninya mati nih. Enti. Udah ada lagi ulti Ezreal. Nice.
Just where they need it. Into the hope here for Energy. The Yone getting some money to try and fund this team fight. Palafox on the roam down bottom. He had used his ultimate previously on the gank onto Xiaohu to get Xiaohu's flash. Here he uses.
Ini dia mau bikin BOTRK tuh Yoninya ya. Apa ada item yang lain yang pakai itu ya? Immortal Silbo kah? Bukan sih.
Yeah, the reset from Zokla though means you've no control over top side. Palafox also hasn't reset after that fight as well, so you're in a bit of an awkward situation here for NRG as you try and contest on towards the top side, but we're gonna get a replay here. Weiwei immediately.
Nyampe ya dari ujung situ ya. Anjing, bet mau kayak cok ya. Dari tribus itu loh. Anjir. Oops. Goodbye.
Weibo picking up their 4th kill of the game with control over the top side river. They immediately pick up the Herald as the prize.
And that was the early prep that we were just highlighting before we went into that replay. These wards here, Chris got there first on the.
Itu Rumble yang kayak export. Iya, topnya itu yang kayak export Rumble namanya.
They saw all the entry paths. The Shy was able to push up, and so Weibo snowballing right now. Turret plates mid, Rift Herald immediately used, and they can transition over to Dragon as well.
Yeah, especially with Light getting that damage onto FBI on the bot side. Ignar trying to see if he can wrap around. He's beat Chris to the punch, but can he get on towards Light to get a kill?
Ooh, Light trying to play super aggressively. Now he tries to get away as Ignar
Tas, kena. Masih kena itu kah? Oh enggak nyampe.
Xiaohu wanted to join in with a teleport just in case, but they couldn't save their AD carry in time.
They don't have FBI for this fight though in NRG side, so Weibo still in a position where they can try contest. Not sure though, as they want to try and give this space over towards NRG. Palafox having pushing.
Gue jadi penasaran juga buat pengen bikin teleport di wing grip aja di main mid ya. Tapi lebih enak ini spell lari sih dibanding itu kayaknya. Teleport. Wah kabur cuy. Nggak sempet Yoninya. That's all too late.
We've got Caitlyn, Light here going to be able to push out mid. Xiaohu with the heroics there. The burst from Jace, so much damage. Immediately deletes Ignar and means that Weibo get to push mid with that Caitlyn and take the dragon at their leisure.
Man, oh man, another Drake.
Jadwalnya beda sama di Wikipedia ya. Mungkin salah kali mereka. Boleh lihat jadwalnya di lolesports.com aja cuy. Biar pasti.
2,000 gold, 2 Drakes to nothing, 12 minutes in.
But the problem is, it's actually coming off of NRG's over enthusiasm to try and make these plays happen. Like Weibo are looking for the play, weren't looking for the play on bot side. It's Ignar who roams into the face of Xiaohu and gives that kill across. Then Contracts whiffing on the ultimate means that Weibo are able to go for Dragon. It's NRG that are just pushing the envelope too far, and Weibo are punishing.
Dagda, if you don't love Energy at their 2-0 over G2, then you don't deserve them here, because this is how they always look for the aggressive play. They're always looking to preempt it and be the ones to start it out. This time around, they're getting punished at each face check. Level 2 was it? The first one from Ignar on the invade in jungle. And here again.
Ini satu tim aja kah yang main Iya. Besok satu, dua sih lebih tepatnya ya.
They're a team that always wants to make their own win cons, make their own comebacks into these games, and sometimes they get punished for it.
Xiaohu and Weiwei looking for a potential dive here on Palafox, not going to find it. Decided discretion's the better part of valor on this one. Contract's going to face check into the brush there that Crisp was waiting in. Now Palafox in. Twisted advance comes out.
Ulti.
Nice buffer through the CC from Palafox, but it cost him his ult to get away.
It'll cost them bot lane tower as well. The amount of control that Weibo have on this bottom side is absolutely insane, and Xiaohu already taking plates. Light has pushed him mid, so he's leaning down. I don't know if NRG can stick around that long.
Well, Palafox is going to step forward with a soul unbound. They can at least clear the wave away. Remember, it's only the first herald. It does about a plate and a half worth of damage. So Weibo could summon it up, take the guaranteed 2 plates that are left here, but the clock has now moved past that point. So this turret is done for, you would have to think. A little bit more damage coming out there.
Yone nggak ada ulti lagi.
Attack speed allowing him to put the DPS into it. True shot barrage over the top, going after the minions. Ain't gonna get it done.
Dapat
First
turret
turret of the game goes to Weibo.
And you can look at the map. Look at where the Shy is. Weibo knows that they've been given a lot of extra advantages in this game. So they're like, look, as long as we don't give anything back, we can play through those wins that we have, play through the strength of Xiaohu.
Gimana cara ngubah item Namune jadi murah mana? Santai aja, beli aja, spam skill aja, nanti juga berubah sendiri. Nonton item fisikal gue deh, kayaknya ada deh gue bahas.
Looking for more from with such a high bar set, and his Jace is going to be a huge part of now the siege from Weibo, trying to move him around to some of these towers as
oh no, the shot. That was a big wall up there to catch Doko.
Mampus.
Crisp shows up with a bouncing grenade.
Hammer support aja, tapi damage-nya nggak sakit sih, cuman oke lah.
Contracts and Ignar both making their way up here. It's a 4-man play from NRG, but a teleport coming back in from Weibo to answer.
The Shy coming back in, but I think they're just going to back away from this one. You can already see where Xiaohu is positioned on this bottom side. He's going to push in.
Kencang ya attack speednya si Gunnar. Oh, dia bikin Trinity.
This is a player that has been so downtrodden coming into this World Championship. A lot of people, both on the Western side and also in the Chinese community, have been like, look, Xiaohu doesn't make it past October when it comes to World Championship. So often, he's the guy that has been questioned when it comes in. But when you look at that lane economy snapshot by MasterCard, you can see how big an advantage Xiaohu has gained for his team here, and he wants to try and continue it forward.
All right, Weiwei is the target this time, but again, NRG cannot get the CC.
Tidak kena lagi ulti Sejuani, ngevlog, ulti nggak kena. Nah, Yone nih. Emang bisa lu ngekill tuh Yone? Lu yang sekarang anjim. Aduh, Bang Yone. Oh, Bang Yone. Waduh, nice. Weibo is just better. Jungle udah kayak milik sendiri.
It's just Crisp and Weiwei knowing their limits and backing off once NRG try to make a move.
And this is what we're saying, the second Weibo get control, it is so hard to play into this composition. They control space so well, they deny you access so well, and now you've got Xiaohu with 3 kills, you've got Light who's managed to pick up the gold that he needs off of the towers, and he's starting to take over. Weibo want to make this a 3-0.
6,000 gold at 17 minutes is the recipe to do just
X.
Weibo loving the state of the game. Third Drake of the game is live. It's a Hex Soul this time around, and Weibo's primed to put themselves in a spot for Soul Point.
Yeah, especially with 2 items.
Fix 0-3. Yep.
I mean, if there's one thing we learned from his Lucian, this man is pretty good at AD champions. We got to see it with his Tristana domestically in the LPL, 72% win rate on that pick, and now with this Jace full firing, they're just getting prio mid. They're going to start to lean in towards this bot side. And NRG, they need to try and find Weibo while they're split, but they're not really in a position to even go for it because Palafox, he's trying to catch the wave mid.
FBI and the rest of NRG trying to take control over this bot side river and set up for the Drake. Xiaohu's already on a rampage. Palafox is gone. The twisted advance is out. Equalizer over the top, but Dokla's going to be the target here.
Anjir, lama banget anjir ketahan roadnya.
FBI taking the credit
Apaan tuh? Oh, dia pakai teleportnya Hextech.
Of Weibo have control over this Drake. They have control over the river. They have a 4v3 on the Rift. Contracts, you don't want to go in there, buddy. It's no way out. Soul point over to Weibo.
Huge stuff for Weibo. So much control in the game now, and with all these sieging options.
Baron sih udah kalah jauh SCS-nya ya.
18.5 minutes into the game, they could continue to control the Rift. Wait patiently for the Baron to come up.
And they still have that Rift Herald. They can still go for more here as well as they start to siege up. But you see here, Weibo push out mid. Xiaohu goes into the darkness. And Palafox is
gila ya.
Immediately.
Kena combo cerot.
Fall as quickly, but they still end up falling off the back of this. It's a good ult from Dokla to set up for the kill on towards Xiaohu, but they just don't have enough in the tank, especially as the Shy is chasing down members.
Yeah, and Xiaohu has been so good in the LPL and so good at MSI, winning 3 times. It's just been Worlds, the tournament, that has been kind of elusive for him. So maybe this is the time.
I mean, the Emperor of Spring has always been the moniker, and unfortunately for him, he's never been able to shift that over towards Worlds. And now Dokla may need to shift out of here.
I feel like every single time.
Anjir sakit, cowok. Ini kayaknya damage paling gede si Jace ya kayaknya ya.
They're alive and they're after energy. Weiwei 2-1 and 3 here on the Maokai, having another good showing.
And the amount of vision they have on this top side, there goes the Rift Herald. They know that NRG are not in a position to chase for this, so that's going to be the first tier 2 cracked open here for the Weibo side.
All right, Xiaohu going to finish up this turret with that Rift Herald as they teleport on it, actually. NRG are making a strike at a possible comeback. Can they get him? Contracts ult!
Palafox goes in. Xiaohu's a big target if they can take him down. He wants to
tetap mati cuy.
But the damage on the Soul Unbound is enough to secure the kill. Now what about the counter punch? Energy trying to escape. Weiwei and the Shy still going forward. The Shy has the Hull Breaker. Very, very powerful if he's isolated. Remember, gives him a ton of extra resistances. Has teammates nearby him right now. And even though it's Weibo who lost a man, they're still feeling fine about the state of things.
They're just going to back away, make sure that they're not going to lose anything else off the back of that. NRG not really in a position to do particularly much here, because you'll be able to come back into the Rift in a couple of moments. You've got the TP available for Xiaohu as well. The Shy still playing with his food here a little bit, and I don't know if NRG are going to bite back.
They're going to watch the Shy just sort of walk back and forth. That's about all they can do. It's real dangerous to go near these guys. We talked about the strength of the composition, having Maokai saplings, Heimerdinger turrets, Caitlyn traps, all being able to control this zone. And now with the Shy having a Hull Breaker, it just means the more that you mess around trying to break through this defense, break through this zone control, the more Weibo is going to get somewhere else on the map.
It also means that if you're up against Dokla,
ngeri juga nih naik bot.
he's not going to do anything to
Kok bisa saya kalah sama Caps pas Swiss anjir.
Absurd for a Rumble to try and deal with. So it sets
Tidak
up
ketahu.
for Weibo to have that
Kur bot lu ngeri.
and then the sideline pressure.
Anjir,
Sideline pressure,
bot
though,
gua.
might come back to bite the Shy.
All right, Energy sending 3 men after him. Make it 4 as the TP's coming in. The Shy trying to fight these guys. Just jumps back over the head. Styling on him for now.
Gimana Jim? Gak bisa berubah, Cok. Oh, dia kalau kena hit nggak nambah raginya ya. Harus nge-hit.
Xiaohu's got the damage, and Palafox has to retreat. Weiwei leading the charge yet again with a twisted advance, as Dokla barely stays alive. Weiwei having a flash out, double kill back.
Wih, mantep cuy Yoni, cuy.
Gets one back of his own. Light still
Cuman ya itu anjir, siapa namanya Xiaohu sakit banget, Cok.
Weibo come out on top. It's a 2-for-2 trade, but the health bars favor Weibo.
NRG still trying to fight their way back into this game. They make another pick on the sideline. They get the Shy. They get his flash. Weibo, though, they walk away again. And they still have so much of an advantage with all of these pushing lanes.
Palafox is trying his damnedest in these fights. He's been trying to set up, of course, not only just in this game, but all series long. Does end up going ways off on that engage, but then the follow-up here to get the pick onto the Shy, sets that up, and then even as the fight starts to continue, it's a bit unfortunate. Xiaohu gets the Dust Blade as he's going across the Rumble ult, so doesn't get all that damage, and then here again, Palafox gets access to the Soul Unbound. He jumps in once more, trying to make sure that he can find those last little ticks of damage to take down Weiwei in the backline and try and make these fights even. But back to live, we're at the Dragon Pit.
We're at the Dragon Pit, and it's Soul Point on a Hex Soul for Weibo.
Udah 3 dragon nih, 1 dragon lagi claim soul.
A fight in open ground from Energy has an accelerated shock blast, takes a third of FBI's health. Energy have to find
Nggak kena. Sakit anjir Yoninya. Wah, udah berubah dulu nih Genar nih. Sempet nggak ngejar? Nggak bisa ya.
On the queue, but it's only under contracts who can't be slowed. Still low HP for energy. Weibo still total control.
Dikejar terus anjir, cuman udah habis.
The shy back into Mininar form. Throws out the boomerang, not going to connect on the first toss. Still chasing. Accelerated shock blast, not finding the target there.
Bangkur nyetel God pas lagi lihat aftermatch, hitungannya copyright nggak? Ada sih copyright di live gue yang ini cuy, cuman kayaknya bukan lagu Gods deh. Gak gue perhatiin sih, tapi kena copyright pokoknya setiap gue nobar. Ada copyright lagu. Ini ngeklaim soul ini. Nice banget tuh ultinya. Ulti si Rumble. Cuman gak kuat ya. Nah, berubah Genar. Mampus kalian. Mampus. Mau kemana Dex? Dexione mau kemana? Kok ada kupu-kupu anjing? Kupu-kupu apa tuh? Udah kelar sih ini guys. Udah dapat soul juga. Dapat Baron. Nah ini kita lihat nih. Rumble sih udah oke lah ya ultinya tadi ya. Lihat Jace ya. Genar datang bubar aja.
And you can see the chain lightning bouncing around even in this fight because they claimed the soul as the team fight broke out. Weibo then grabbing everything, the Baron right after. They've got that for the next 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Honestly, I don't even know if the game's going to last that long.
That's what I was going to say. The chain of events we're going to see now happening is going to be so difficult for NRG to deal with. All right, you start to push in here as Light, as Xiao Hu start to siege onto the mid lane turret. That's already crumbling. A stiff breeze is going to take that down for Weibo. You then start to look at the bot side. The Shy already setting up his business in this bot line. He wants to make sure that he can get that income for himself. And he even might look for Palafox here as he's forced to run away. As long as you've got this Baron buff, you are delighted as Weibo.
Light just using that ace in the hole to chip away at the health of FBI, who does not have a lot of sustain. Palafox going over the wall, doesn't find anything with the ulti except a death. Now they got the Maokai, the shot.
Anjir mau kayaknya diincer anjir Ezreal.
There's no chance left for energy.
Map anjir. Mamam Dex anjir. Nggak logis Jesu. Nice. Udah goyang-goyang doang tuh si Sejuani ngevlog.
The LPL showing up here against the LCS. It looked close in game number 1, but it was quickly squashed by Weibo as they continue.
Bang, kalau menang tuh salam dulu bang, nggak langsung pulang anjing. Nggak sopan Weibo aja.
And they will be our first team in the semifinals. Congratulations.
Genji or BLG are going to be their opponents waiting for them, and that is going to be another step that they are going to have to try and muster up the strength for if they hope to make it the whole way.
Heads held high for the members of NRG though. The entire region proud of this team. They have forced so many people into a paradigm shift to really question the assumptions that they had about North American players with their strong performances here, even in the face of so much doubt.
But still, today it was not enough to take down the LPL's 4th seed, the team that you said it earlier, guys. This was put together as a super team. They were supposed to.
The Shy is back. Anjir sampai nangis gitu, coba what the fuck?
But they're here at Worlds now, and although the road has been rocky, they absolutely crushed their opponents here today, and I think they're heating up.
Oke, sepertinya nobar kita cukup sampai di sini aja adik-adik ya, karena ternyata udah selesai. Oke. Hari ini Weibo, besok seru nih guys. Besok Genji lawan BLG ya. BLG itu Blibli Gaming. bukan Bilibili ya.
I mean, this guy has been fantastic. Picking up things like the Aatrox, being able to slam down that herd onto his opposition, and making sure Weibo have that opportunity to continue forward.
Genji apa BLG kok? Genji lawan BLG besok.
Gua baru saja mengirimkan dukungan 1000. BTW Nunu sekitar jam BRPBG.
Jam berapa ya Nunu ya? Mungkin jam 8 kali ya, sebangun gua lah nanti cuy ya.
Been an answer for these range supports from Crisp. Yes, Heimerdinger's not really an enchanter, but he's not a tank either.
Oke guys, thank you semuanya yang sudah nonton, thank you yang sudah like, thank you yang sudah subscribe, thank you yang sudah donate, thank you sudah super chat, thank you semua yang sudah menemani Nobar. Nanti malam kita lanjut lagi live bermain game baru dari Riot, yaitu game Song of Nunu yang gamenya mantap sekali ya. Jadi terakhir itu kita tadi malam udah bertemu Orn, dan nanti malam kita bakal ketemu Orn lagi untuk nge-crafting item. Oke, thank you semuanya. Kita bertemu lagi di live atau video berikutnya guys. Thank you.